Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your man, Uncle Freeze, number one Chief Rocket in Knicks universe. What's good? How y'all doing out there? What's good, y'all? Y'all saw the rumors too, huh? Burks, Noel, Fournier look like they will be all traded soon. Y'all see the rumors too. Y'all see them too. What are we getting for these guys? So what are we going to get for these guys? That's what I'm interested in. I saw right here. I'm looking for, yeah. So I was looking at the Bleacher Report app. Not all of it is always true, but salute guys, salute y'all. So what are y'all hearing? Let's share information. What I'm looking to do is put all the info I can on the screen so that we can all explore and exchange info together. Right. So right now I'm looking for the Woj Twitter account so I can put it up on the screen. I'm looking for the Woj. There it is. I'm looking at Russell Westbrook accepting or picking up his player option. We all knew he was going to do that. Yeah. So we knew about Kyrie. We knew about Russ. We knew that that certain point guards, certain players at certain ages, we knew certain players at certain ages were going to pick up their player options because it's the best option for them right now as players, right? But what I'm looking to do right now is compile the information that's out there. Let me see. I got Twitter open twice. I don't need Twitter open twice. There we go. All right, the Russell Westbrook thing is out there. And the Kyrie stuff. KD with the Nets. All right, so I don't see anything pressing out here right now. Right? What do y'all think about the John Wall? What do y'all think about the John Wall to the Clippers thing? What do y'all think about the John Wall to the Clippers thing? Is that something or nothing? Tramel White is in the building. What's good? Tramel, thank you for the generous contribution. Tramel says, Burks to the Celtics, Noel to the Clippers, youth move. Right. I see you. I see you. Chop Low, what's good? Danny Lee, what's good? Joe Madden, what's good? Let me do this. All right. Let me put the link in the chat. Fish is in the building. What's good? Keith Turner, what's good? I see you. Keith Turner, what's good? I see you out there. Sherwin M says, we are giving up draft picks to clear cap space for Brunson. Why not use the draft picks and trade for Murray and OG? I will take John Wall over Brunson. Chop, what's good?
Salute.
What's good, Joe?
Joe Madden for Woody.
Yeah,
what's up,
man.
Chop?
Joe Madden for 3. What's good? Brooklyn Buddha is in the building. Hey, Buddha says, interested because Wall and Bill really wanted PG to come to Washington when he was a free agent. Wow.
I think it's a good move. I think it's a good move for the Clippers.
Okay.
I think it's a good move because it's what are they giving him, like the mid-level exception for 1 year since he got bought out. So it's like kind of like what we gave Kemba for a year.
Yeah.
But with maybe a little less risk because I do believe John Wall is somewhat healthy. Houston have just sat him out because they didn't want to win games.
They were tanking, yeah.
So they sat him. So I believe with the year off, he could be healthy. So that could be a steal for him, for the Clippers.
Yeah,
and that's a good thing with us too, because that's the West is getting stronger with Kawhi coming back and PG and Wall and whatever other pieces they put around them. They're going to be up there. They're going to be up there competing for the West.
Right.
Right. And then let me ask you a question, because didn't Kyrie had to do something before the 29th, today the 28th, so that was solidified?
Yeah, he was bluffing. There was no way he was turning down $36.5 million. He wasn't going to lose $30 million to go sign for $6 million with the Lakers.
Nah.
So then that
but not too many people in the world are doing that. Like you see, I laugh on Twitter. You have Lakers fans killing Westbrook for picking up his $47 million option. They were like, well, what is he going to do? Say no? It's $47 million. Of course he's picking that option up.
Right. Wait. But Joe, that trade that I heard a couple of days ago, that's not going to happen, Kyrie for Russell Westbrook, or no?
No.
Brooklyn weren't going to do that.
No, and then plus there's an element, there are side elements to it too. Like Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant don't really want to play with each other.
Oh,
right?
Pause. Yeah, right. Pause, but yeah.
Right. Okay. And then so where does that leave Kevin Durant, who's a loyal dude to Kyrie? If Kyrie up and leave and go go play with LeBron, what does Kyrie do? What does Kevin Durant do? Because if Kyrie leaves, then you put Kevin Durant in this thing where he ain't gonna play for Brooklyn if Russell Westbrook is there.
But you see, that's in question, because it's like Durant don't want to play with anybody. Pause. Right. He was with Westbrook. He was with Harden, with Kyrie. He was with the Splash Brothers. So yeah, all right. I don't know.
See, with Curry and Clay, they're reliable. Like you're naming out names of guys who have played it that haven't really done nothing. Like Harden's not reliable. Harden's a diva. We've seen him want to move 3 times already.
Yeah.
Kyrie don't show up. Kyrie's a baller. Like Kyrie's one. To me, if Kyrie had the worth ethic, he'd probably be the greatest point guard of all time. But the fact that he's asleep and he's just not interested and not engaged fully has him where he's at. Like he should be this year. If Kyrie was a guy out of Kyrie's way, he'd be probably the most sought after free agent this year, looking at getting $50 million. But the fact that every other problem in the world come before basketball kind of hampered it. The no team wants him. So I think he was always going to go back to Brooklyn. He had no leverage and he wasn't going to turn down the money.
He's a different diva.
But he's going to play this year. They're going to make a run to the playoffs. They're going to fall short. He's going to get paid, and then he's going to get back to his theatrics then the following season once he gets his bag.
I can see that.
He got to get paid first. Right. Okay. I could dig that.
He'll have a good year this year, and he'll try and get consistent just so he gets his guaranteed money. And once the Nets give him his guaranteed money, he'll go back to being Kyrie again.
Right.
He said going back to being Kyrie again. I like it.
All right, so I want to show something to you, and you guys may have already saw this, but for those that have not seen it, I want to show them this, because what happens is a lot of times we speak about stuff, and if we don't show like a source, people really don't really jive with it.
Like source money. Okay.
All right, so NBA trade rumors. Knicks Clippers have had exploratory talks around Nerlens Noel, right? And this is from Tim Daniels, and the date for this article is today. I just want to read a little snippet of it. The Knicks reportedly held exploratory discussions about potentially trading center Nerlens Noel to the Clippers. Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype reported Tuesday the Knicks may include draft picks as an incentive to keep LA from sending salary back in a deal, which would create cap space as New York aims to make an aggressive run at guard Jalen Brunson in free agency. Noel was limited to 25 appearances during last season because of knee, back, and foot injuries. Right? He could slide in as the Clippers' backup center behind Zubac if Hartenstein departs in free agency. Meanwhile, the Knicks have spent years trying to fill their void at point guard. Right? And that's all I because I don't want the videos to show on the screen. So that's all I show on that. So what do y'all think about Nerlens Noel to the Clippers with draft pick compensation included?
Us getting compensation or giving?
Giving the Clippers draft picks so they won't take salary back.
I think that's what we acquired a lot of these picks.
It'd be seconds, but that makes me worry because we had to move quite a bit to get off of Kemba. So if you're looking at the same thing, you might as well just, if you have to give up stuff to move him, you might as well just waive and stretch him. It's the same thing. You pay him $3 million over the next 3 years, you save $6 million rather than trading saving the $9 million, but having to give up assets with it. My fear is they might give up Cam with him instead of giving up a pick.
Right.
And who is Tom Whittam?
Huh?
Who you said Tom Whittam? Who is that?
No, who is Cam? I'm teaching my Cam Reddish.
I'm saying
Tom
talking about if they move Noel instead of attaching a pick, they might attach Cam to him.
Yeah.
Oh, Cam. Okay.
And I don't like that one bit. You want to move Cam, get a pick because you traded a pick away from him. Don't trade a pick, get Cam, and move him to clear money.
Right.
That's just not good business.
Right. Would the Clippers though be willing to take on more money, knowing that they need to sign Isaiah Hartenstein back? Like for instance, they have their own free agent that they want to re-sign. Would they take on Cam Reddish instead?
But what they have to do with Jalen Brunson? Isn't he a free agent?
No, not that. What? No.
Oh, I thought it had something to do with at least with okay. All right.
No. Kind of does, but they have to clear cap for Brunson, so they're trying to move Noel. So we're talking about Noel going to the Clippers in some sort of deal with taking out cap, or else not.
Right, just a question now for the retarded people like me, right? You can't amnesty players no more, right?
Nah.
Well, Well, I think you could have, right? I don't know if you can anymore. That's a good question, Chop. I don't know.
Nah, I don't think so.
You can't even release players and still pay them like they've been paying Noah and.
You can, yeah. Wave and stretch. You cut them and then you split the salary you owe them down through the years. But you're technically better. You do that in a big deal. Like when there's like 2 or 3 years left, you're paying out big money every year. But you do it like how John Wall, they agreed to a buyout for Haddock was half of his money and they just paid it in 1 year. And with Noel, we're trying to save cap. So what they do is cut Noel's 9, pay him $3 million a year over the next 3 years. That saves them $6 million this year.
Well, they have a copologist?
$9 million and maybe put him into a trade exception. But that problem is then for a team to use a trade exception, you're going to have to give up something.
Right.
And they got Brock Aller, though. He's a capologist, so he could get.
I'd do it if you know you're getting something back for Burks then.
Alec Burks is a piece.
You get a second or two back for him, or maybe some heavily protected first or something for him.
Right.
But you to open up the money for Brunson, Noel and Burks don't need to be both traded. You need to just move one of them.
But wait. Isn't he a free agent or a restricted, unrestricted one? I don't know how that works.
Who?
For us other fans, I really don't understand because we always talk about like me. I'm like, okay, well, can we something or no? We have to make these moves accordingly. Break it down.
Well, we don't. He's unrestricted free agent. We can sign him outright with cap, but we need to create the cap, and that's offloading mistakes Leon made last year by signing these 2-year deals instead or 3-year deals instead of giving these guys just 1 year. He paid everybody after the almighty fourth seed, and now he's trying to maneuver ways. And I think he's good. We're getting Brunson. I think it's a done deal. It has to be if he's trying to move more money now to get him. So it's all about they're going to move the money somehow.
So when you talk about you sign a contract,
it's okay if you get assets for it, but if you have to give up another first to move Noel, that's not good because you more or less traded that 11 pick for assets, and then you're going to sprinkle the assets around to clean up your mistakes.
But don't we have a lot of picks? A lot of picks to sprinkle them like E40 sprinkle me, no.
No, you want them picks for moves to make the team better, not offload salary.
What about remember when teams do something, they sign you to an offer sheet, and the team got to match it, or that doesn't apply to this situation?
Nah, that's only restricted. This guy's unrestricted. This is he can re-sign with the Mavs if they want. They can give him an extra year and more money, but they have no ties. The only ties they might have with the Mavs is if the Knicks can't get off the money and they want to send the money to the Mavs in a sign and trade.
So that's similar to Kyrie's situation where he was unrestricted and he just okay.
Yeah, but Brunson didn't have a player option. Brunson was only making like $1.7 million last year, so that's why he's getting way underpaid.
Yeah, he was a rookie, right? So
he's on a rookie, on a second round rookie deal. He was in the same deal Mitch had.
Right. Okay.
High second round. Was it like something like a $4 million 4-year, like $1 million a year contract or $1.5 million a year contract?
Okay.
And he's in the same situation where he's been undervalued and he's been underpaid and he wants to get his money. Okay. Kind of like Mitch. But the thing is, the market for Brunson is a little bit more because Dallas want to pay him.
But they want to keep him off the bench after Luka Doncic.
No. They've been playing him. See, that's the issue. I think the Brunson's leaving because you have obviously the family ties with the Knicks. But he done an interview with Duncan Robinson, and his dad done another interview with some Dallas reporter. And the both kind of was said about him being underrated his whole life. And they kind of made hints about how Dallas had 2 opportunities to pay him, and they declined both times, and he would have took the money. And then he felt like he should have been in the starting lineup, but it took Tim Hardaway Jr. to get hurt before him go in, and then the team got better when he went in. So I think that's kind of, he has a little bit of saltiness. It's like, you know what, I need to be appreciated. And I know the Knicks are probably pitching to him, oh, they don't believe in you, we believe in you, you're going to be our guy.
And you know, Uncle Freezy's on a flight for like everybody. We already enticed them like, yo, okay, so come here. So all right, well, I could dig it.
Well, man, I'm looking at stuff, but I don't see much stuff out here.
Nothing yet.
Nothing else going on.
Yeah, aside from the Alec Burks thing, which looks like it's going to happen.
What's that? What is that?
There, so?
What is that thing? I don't know.
Alec Burks to the Celtics.
Wow.
I think whatever compensation we get from the Celtics might be used in a deal to move Noel.
Yeah, like the second rounders.
Yeah, the positive things from the Burks deal will be used in the negative Noel deal. You know what I'm saying?
Negative Noel deal. Negative Noel. Why is it a negative Noel deal? Or why?
Because you have to send out assets.
See, the thing is, Noel's value, if you're sending, you could do a deal where you're saying Noel's $9 million and you take back matching salary, you get a second round pick from. But the issue is the Knicks don't want to take back the money. So they got to clear. So the team is taking Noel straight into their trade exception or their cap space. Right. So the Knicks are going to have to pay some sort of asset for the team to do that. So what Freezy's saying is they could get an asset for Burks to go into Boston or one of the team's trade exceptions, get a pick or 2 second rounders or something, which would be late if it's from Boston. And then you send them 2 second rounders with Noel to the Clippers for, I don't know, like another another future second or something else coming back.
Oh, so the 2 second rounders are the assets that you're talking about.
Yeah, more or less what you're going to get for Burks. You ship it out with Noel to get Noel's money off the books. That's the kind of phrase he's saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. But then that leaves Evan Fournier. Do you keep Fournier? I searched and I don't see any smoke around Evan Fournier.
Well, he's not going back to Orlando or Boston, so
right.
No, they tried to put him. They tried to send him back into the trade exception they got from Boston before the draft, but I don't think that's legal because the trade exception was created when he signed with the Knicks, and the Knicks received 2 second rounders, and Boston got an $18 million trade exception. So the Knicks then wanted to trade him back into that. So I think they know they have to give up a first for him, unless, which Ian Begley did note. They said executives around the league believe that people inside the Knicks organization believe Jalen Brunson isn't the franchise changer. He's a piece, and that there's another move. So maybe you're looking at Fournier and picks or something to make something else, bring something else in.
All right now, but see, Joe, now listen now. Can Fournier be a piece to go or whatever? Well, I know he's a free agent, but can he be a piece to go to Dallas? I mean, Fournier.
No, Knicks aren't going to do a sign and trade with Dallas. Dallas think burned that bridge. Dallas tried to do that and said, "Nah, screw you, go clear the cap." And now the Knicks are trying to clear the cap. So if Dallas wants to say, "Oh, we want to do a sign and trade," Knicks be like, "Nah." And then plus they have Dallas's pick next year. If Dallas can't replace Brunson, that pick gets a little worse. So that ups the value of it for the Knicks. So there's a couple of things you play in with that stuff too.
And and what you have to think about is all these parties are separate. There's the Dallas Mavericks. Then there's Jalen Brunson. Then there's the New York Knicks, right? And so Jalen Brunson is an unrestricted free agent. So in order for a sign and trade to get done, the Dallas Mavericks would have to get compensated. Something, right? And something that they agree to, right? And so why would you take on cap space in return to the player that you want, that you could have signed with cap space? Like why take on $25 million when you could have just gave it to Brunson?
And listen, cash consideration is not even applying to this conversation.
No,
okay.
What I seen too somewhere was to entice the Knicks to do a sign and trade and it helps the Mavs out because at the moment they're going over the cap to re-sign Brunson. They lose Brunson, they get nothing because they don't have the money to replace him unless they have the mid-level exception. So you're bringing in like Gordon Dragic or somebody on a buyout on really cheap money or whatever. But the way for the Mavs for the Knicks to entice to get into a sign and trade would be if the Knicks give the Mavs a player. I think it's like $16 million half Brunson's salary or something, trade player exception. But for the order for the Knicks to do that, Brunson will go to New York, and the Knicks would have to or the Mavs would have to give New York assets for the trade exception. So you could get Brunson 2 second round picks and send them a player trade exception if the Knicks wanted to do that.
Right.
But they could always swap.
They could get Brunson.
They always swap
they could screw the Mavs and be like, yeah, you can get here's a traded player exception, but you have to give me picks.
And Rose is good for that, but they can't swap picks and all that, or whatever is feasible for both parties, or no?
Well, no, it's Nixon. It's all about what Brunson wants, but Knicks have all the leverage. Mavs is no. If the Knicks couldn't get off of Noel, they could say to the Mavs, "Yo, Brunson's coming. We're doing a side and trade. Here's Noel." So it's Noel for Brunson.
Right.
And the Mavs don't like it, then they go dump Brunson. Then they'll go dump or trade Noel.
And remember, the Mavs seem, unfortunately, they seem to have a lot of the old Knicks players. So I don't know. There's some kind of connection there where.
Yeah, well, that's the Mavericks is where the Knicks jump their garbage. We give them Porzingis, you give them Bullock, you give them Frank Ntilikina, the Dallas Mavericks, Hardaway, all the Knicks trash ends up in Dallas.
Yeah, right.
And they take it to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, but bro, the Luka conscious though. You take Luka, and listen. You take even Luka was injured in that Jazz series. Do you think Mavs are winning that series or winning the first 2 or 3 games without Luka if Jalen Brunson wasn't on the floor?
I mean, I don't know.
Like, I look at that team as Luka and it's Brunson. Mainly Luka, but Brunson to be the second one. And after that, there's not much to play with. Yeah. And that's the problem. They don't have assets. They're over the cap. They brought in Wood too. They've just brought in Wood too.
But they have Frank Ntilikina. They had Tim Hardaway Jr. and they have Reggie Bullock and they had
Pinson, Theo Pinson.
Yeah. He break dance on the sideline, but okay. So wait. Tomorrow, the 29th, is that the deadline of players being traded or what? Or
I think tomorrow's
that's
deadline.
Yeah, that's player options and stuff.
Player option contracts after that. Okay.
Yeah, and then free agency is like 6:00 then Thursday, the 30th.
Okay. Because I'm just assuming that Kyrie re-up and stayed there, and then Bradley Beal stayed there, and so what's gonna happen now?
Well, I don't know what's up with Bradley Beal. Did he opt in?
I think I saw it in the paper.
There was a report he opted out. Then he come out and replied on Twitter and come out online and was like, "Yo, that report's not true. He didn't make a decision." Then I seen another report he opted in.
He stayed. I think he stayed. It was in the paper. I don't know. Double check it.
It's funny to me. He'd be done all this off season. He'd be talking about winning and winning and winning. And it's not about money. But then yet he's going to go stay in Washington and have done zero winning and have done zero to help him.
I think he stayed, though. You got to double check that. I think he stayed with Washington.
The money, bro. No, like this free agency is going to die out. And that's why I seen someone say maybe this from now until 2025, this might be the only shot that the Knicks get to really use their cap space, because now they're going to have to extend RJ and Mitch.
Right.
So this might be the only year to use the cap, because the way everyone now is moving up. And
so what's happening with Mitch, though?
Huh?
You see what's happening with Mitch then, Joe? You just said Mitch. What happening with Mitch? Are we doing anything to keep him, or?
Oh yeah, they're probably going to re-sign him.
You sure?
Yeah, probably for the for like $11 million. I think they're going to re-sign him.
Re-sign who? Who are you talking
Mitch.
about?
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah.
Because
I think that's done.
Also, right?
The Mitch market died real fast, and I also think little chess moves the Knicks kind of had to do with that too when they gave Detroit Duran. Because you think about it, Duran, what do you call it? The Pistons, and I think who was the other team? The Hornets were looking for centers, and then they both got centers in the draft, so they killed the Mitch market.
Right, because we talk about Noel's is on the market or here and there, so that means we're gonna keep Mitch, and then we have a young Sims coming up under Mitchell Robinson. So what does that mean?
You also have to pay Jericho Sims.
Right.
Yeah, they'll work out like a Mitchell Robinson. They'll work out like Mitch was on a 2-way, I think his first year, wasn't he? And then the second year got like
they signed him to a 2+1+1.
Okay.
The same thing with Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
A 2-year guaranteed, and then team options for the next 2 years.
Yeah. So they'll probably do something similar then with Sims.
Yeah.
Keep the cap hit low. But to me, Sims is going to get his burn, but them moving Noel, and if they don't bring another center and it's just Mitch and Sims, that to me is a sign that they're looking to make an adjustment and get Obi more minutes with Randle on the floor.
Yeah, well, who's going to play center?
Mitch's injury history, and then Sims isn't that type of center, I don't think, yet, to come in and fill a void. So who else is playing the position? You're going to have to move Randle over.
If you put Obi at the 3, who's going to play the 5? Because I know y'all not talking about playing Obi at the 5.
Well, Obi's not going to be at the 3 because if you're going to still keep Cam Reddish, and we still have RJ, and we have Fournier, right? And then
are we back to playing Obi at the 3 now?
No, I don't want to put him at the 3. He's a power forward.
No,
remember,
we talked about that his rookie year, right? When he was first drafted. Oh, we could put him at the 3, and we're like, that's not going to work defensively.
Those are all speculations. Those were speculations, but Yeah, in my mind.
No, you can't put him at the 3. That's the thing is
no, he's at the 4. I mean,
yeah. It's at the 4, maybe sometimes at the 5, but defensively at the 5, it don't work. Like these big dudes that fill in,
especially against Joel Embiid.
But to be honest, when you look at teams' backup centers, they're like against the Clippers, like he's going to go up against likes of Noel. Like backup centers aren't good, so he might have success playing the 5, backing up.
They're gonna bring Taj Gibson back.
For what? No, I'm serious. For what?
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got real.
You hear that?
Bad. Yeah, that's me. My bad.
No, play
that's
that.
me. That's me trying to do some production stuff. Chop. My bad.
No, they're gonna bring Taj Gibson back in my mind for some reason.
Yeah, they're gonna bring him back.
But why?
They all? I was just joking.
Because they love Taj, bro. They love.
Yeah, when we say about the mentorship, but Taj didn't do his job last year.
No, he didn't.
Taj was meant to be in there as a mentor, but wasn't there. Like I don't know. I think what age is Taj? 37, 38?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And you know, there's something that's curious to me is like you're bringing Brunson in. What's going to happen with D Rose? I don't see nothing about D Rose or no trade market.
Me either.
You know they want to keep him. You know
why?
What
does that mean? You're screwing Quickley then.
He's a mentor. He's gonna be coming off the bench, and I don't know. He's gonna be.
No, I don't need no mentor. I need talent.
Well, we have the talent. Allegedly, we have Mikal Bridges and not Mikal Bridges. We have McBride and Grimes. That's the young regime under Quickley.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Tough times.
Yeah.
If you're looking at McBride and Grimes as this our future,
they want to build a talent and through the draft, and they want to build a young talent. That's what. Rose never said nothing visually. He said it in a statement on the paper. I saw it in the newspaper in the Post. I was reading it. I was like, oh. He said it in a conversation like, we still want to deal with building our players, our young players through the draft and our talent. So.
I believe it when I see it. Like these reporters and people are like, oh, we need Rose to speak. I don't need Rose to speak. I need Rose's words need to be actions on the team with this team building, with his picks, with his moves. That's all I need to hear. I don't need reactions. I don't need him talking explanations. Pull triggers and we'll be happy. Make moves that make sense. Make the team better.
And that's funny you said that because I want to ask you, Freezy, and I want to ask you, Joe, what do you think about Stephen A. Smith and Spike Lee get on their knees to pray and they was very upset, and then Kendrick Perkins was like, oh, you guys look very immature doing this, such and such, but they was very upset about the situation. And you don't think I'm trying to be optimistic now, right? What the front office did or what Leon Rawls did was nothing panned out, so this is what they did. They traded and You think what they did was correct?
I love what they did.
Spike Lee and Stephen A. didn't agree with it.
I loved what they did because what I seen what was left in the draft board. People said, "Oh, they panicked." They got right. I'm not a mathematician, but last time I checked, I think 3 is more than 1. So we've had 3 more picks more than 1. We got out of a weak draft, and to me, they said they panicked. No, panicking would have been staying still and taking AJ Griffin. Or taking Malachi Branham. Like they done the right thing. They moved out because they knew they needed upside, that they needed high-end talent, a blue chipper. And they tried to get it, they couldn't get it, so they put themselves in a better position for a future draft for a blue chipper.
But we didn't do anything. We didn't acquire anybody. And then we got a dude and we traded him and we got da-da-da-da. But then yet, there was a tweet, I saw it. We got our player, that dude from Duke. And I think, I didn't see it yet, but Freezy put something, who is this guy? And he broke it down. Who is that guy that came from Duke? And he looked solid to me, but is that what we wanted to do, or?
But see, listen, if we drafted another player at 11, we'd be sitting here complaining about, oh, where's he going to play? We want to see him play. So they nipped that in the butt and they said, all right, we have this Nook talent. Unless it's Ivy or a really upside game changer, we are not taking any more, as Freeze likes to call them, the ham sandwiches, which is what we have at the moment. It's tough to say it, but Ivy was the upside, the guy that they wanted, the blue chipper that was going to change things. They tried to move up. They couldn't get him, so they traded out for assets for a future blue chipper instead of staying there and taking another average. Like, I know it sucks. We watched draft night. We didn't get – everyone loves the shiny toy and wants to see a young player come in. But I think right now it doesn't look good. But for long term, I think it looks fantastic when you're looking at cap flexibility, young players we have, and then 22 draft picks over the next, 7-8 years.
Right.
So I think they're doing an all right job. I still think things could change in a week if they miss out on Brunson and then they start messing around with the money and picks.
Not even
and
a week.
stuff.
It's 2 days. 2 days, 3 days.
2-3 days, yeah.
Yeah, right.
That to me is whereas they've accumulated these picks. Now, if they start moving these picks for average players or to save money, that's when I'm going to get mad. They need to hold on to these picks either for a big move up in a draft or they need to save for a big all-star player.
And before the
that's
trade
why
deadline.
that's why I don't like the Javonte Murray. Go trade 4-5. Like, I do like Javonte Murray, but to me, I'd rather pay Jalen Brunson $25 million than give up 4 or 5 picks for Murray and then have to pay him a max contract in 2 years.
But that's the thing. But Joe, that's the thing we're doing right now,
right? So the thing we're doing right now is
trading the stuff that we would have traded for DeJounte Murray,
right? So instead of us trading it all to the Spurs for DeJounte Murray, we're trading it around the league to clear cap space.
Yeah, they haven't done it yet. They still have all the picks. It was just that one, the pick swap and then the 4 second rounders, which I'm not jumping up and down about it. It was
But if we use the math, 0 is less than 4. Like, you remember how you said 3 is more than 1 for the draft pick trade, right?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't do it 0. We did it 4. So 4 is more than 0. If we're using the same logic across the board, being fair to the discussion, right? So because I understand where you going about the kid, Jalen Murray. I mean Jalen Murphy. Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Whatever his name. The Smurf.
The
Smurf from Dallas.
Brunson.
The thing is, the thing is if this dude is not going to move the needle, right? Like if he's not taking you to the second round of the playoffs, right? What's the point in bringing him in here, getting rid of all these draft picks that we accumulated? What's the point in getting rid of them for this dude? Because in theory, you're paying him somewhere between 19 and 27.5 million. We don't know the number yet, right? I would hope it's closer to 19. If it's closer to 27, it don't matter, right? But if you're paying that and you're getting rid of draft picks, it's like you're using cap space and draft picks to sign a dude when you could have just upgraded the position overall in DeJounte Murray. And if the DeJounte Murray thing don't work out here in New York,
right,
after 2 seasons, the dude can walk. But if it don't work out for Jalen Brunson in 2 years, you got 2 more years.
No, there's going to be a player. It's basically going to be 3 years with a player option. I think declining too, so the money's going to go down every year. The thing with Murray is though, Freezy, you're giving up so many assets, and these aren't going to be the picks we just accumulated. They're talking Atlanta's giving up 3 to 4 unprotected picks, So them picks are gone. They aren't going to see them picks, so they're going all in. But they have an all in roster. They have Trae Young and whatever maybe little pieces around that. We don't have a Trae Young to do that. And where I say is, I rather bring in Brunson and Cash, and I don't believe they're going to move any more first. They might move a second or do what you said with Burks. They're not good. If they move one more first, they should be fired because that's malpractice. And I don't think they're that stupid to do it. I think they've already moved enough of picks where they're like, all right, we're going to do this accordingly and they're going to keep the picks. Because I believe if they bring Brunson in, as I said this, I rather tank than bring Brunson in alone. If they're bringing Brunson in, there has to be one other chip move. There has to be another piece brought in with him. So that's what I'm saying is my worry is with the picks is that they waste them picks on the wrong person being brought in.
But he's unrestricted. We could sign him. It's up to him.
Who?
Brunson.
No, I'm talking about moving the picks for Murray. I don't want to move picks for Murray. I rather sign Brunson outright and deal with what we've already done and move Noel or Burks or whatever and sign Brunson and give up 3 to 4 first-round unprotected picks for Murray. Because I don't believe the offense are going to move any more picks to get off more money.
And then, Joe, I agree with you because I'm pretty sure, the fan base, Alec Burks, he's great. He looked like a BT movie special actor, right? And Noel's, you know what? They had a great run. They've been with him for a long time. I'm pretty sure the fan base, we don't mind letting those two go.
Well, yeah, them two were never long term. Like they were going to be moved anyway. Like there was talks of them trying to move them at the deadline.
Right.
So you knew they were going to be moved. I do believe they're trying to make room for the young guys.
Okay.
But the next step is after this is it's now you got to look at the starting lineup. You're going to have a starting lineup of Brunson, Fournier, RJ, Randle, Mitch. That ain't going to work. So you need to move something else. And what are you moving? Which is the easiest to move first? Because you know at the end of it, Randle and Fournier are both going to be gone. Which is the easiest to move before the end of the season? They got to figure that out. And then bring in a replacement and upgrade on that. Because as I said, I'd rather look at the lottery than bring Brunson in alone and look at a 10 seed.
Those other veterans. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. It would be great for Randle to go back to Dallas because he's from there, right? So I don't know how that works out, but
a separate trade. They can't move Brunson for Randle. The money don't work.
Yeah, I know that, but in any case, what you said was they have to move one of those veterans or one of them, right?
Well, one of the two can't be in the starting lineup, and I have some people are believing that one of Randle or Obi could be even moved. Like I don't know, but I think there has to be another move. Like you go in after because I'm looking at the team right now as Brunson signed. Brunson, Fournier, RJ, Randle, Mitch. Where's that getting you? What spacing is there? You have one shooter and 4 guys that need to get to the cup.
Wait, you said one shooter. Who's the shooter? Is going to be
Fournier, and that's all he does.
Yeah. But remember, Randle likes to be a shooter too.
There's a difference between liking and wanting to be than actually being.
Yeah, right. I know. Right.
And that's where my concern is. What's the next chess move once Brunson's in the door? Because you still look at that team, that's not getting you anywhere. That's getting you 9th, 10th seed.
And you see, the thing is, as much as we don't even know what Rose is doing or saying, he never say anything. Don't you think these guys do these things accordingly? They've been doing it since been doing it. They know how to do it. They know how to. I don't know. Do you think we're gonna get Brunson? That's the question I want to ask. You think? I think
it's a done deal. If Leon Rose, tell you what, the free agency opens at what 6 o'clock Thursday. If he's not a New York Knick by Friday morning, Leon Rose needs to walk into James Dolan, hands his keys and his resignation and resign because he can't even get his own family member to sign any clear cap for him.
No, 6 a.m. or 6 p.m.
Say 6 p.m. I think Thursday.
Okay, because that's tomorrow. So
he's not signed by Friday morning. Leon Rose needs to be fired. Because he has all the information. He's clearing cap for no reason other than Jalen Brunson. And you're telling me he cleared the cap with no insight when his father's on the staff and he's his godfather? And then Jalen Brunson goes to the Mavs? Then Leon has to go.
And I saw Joe, I saw on ESPN. It was like somebody on ESPN, I think it was Kendrick Perkins and he's like, World Wide Web. He's like, I don't know him, but nobody really knows who Worldwide West is, but people know who Worldwide West is. So you don't think these things will happen or transpire? It's gonna be something that's gonna happen spectacular under Leon Rose and Worldwide West under the Knicks, or no?
One of my other concerns I've seen was that a Mavs reporter come out that, and that's why I know the deal is done, that Mavs executives are extremely frustrated with the Knicks front office. With the tampering stuff.
Tampering.
So that's another issue. I'm like, we might lose a couple of seconds now for a tampering charge if the Mavs ever push. But I'm like, that's another bridge you could be burning too. Because say in the future, 4 or 5 years down the line, there's another move to be made. The Mavs might Cuban will look back and be like, oh, well, look what happened with Jalen.
We never should have gave him up. But they took Porzingis from us and they had to get rid of him. So I don't know.
But they done us a favor. We fleeced them as they fleeced us. We got bad picks. They got a broken down player and bad contracts.
And that's
so everybody, it was a lose-lose situation there.
Listen, Leon Rose, before they was part of the front office, they are the fleece specialists. Right? So they got all our old players. So I'm just saying, in my mind, I'm just being optimistic. I think there's something that might happen where, and listen, remember, you just told me though, Jalen Brunson or Brunson is basically a free agent and we can sign him, but we have to clear the cap space.
Yeah, I don't think the cap space is an issue. I think it's done. My issue is if they go clear the cap space without checking in to make sure he's coming.
Yeah, but can we give him a contract and then we could revise his contract to give him more money once everything else is sorted, once he performs accordingly, and he know he's already solidified because he's here, his pops is here, right? We want to make sure we establish a good team, a good unit, and such and such. Or no. That's just me being idealistic.
Well, to me, to build a good team with Jalen Brunson, it's all down to one man. It's number 30.
Who's number 30? Oh, RJ.
What are you doing with him?
I think number 30
is he going to adjust and play off ball and get better, or are you going to move him?
30 is not RJ. 30 is Randle, bro.
Oh. Listen. I think you know what that's saying? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think we done crossed that bridge as Knicks fans. And then when you listen, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, and I'm so sorry. You know me, Freezy. I'm very intricate, or what y'all say it into whatever. But I think we've been crossing that bridge, and it's a different bridge where we from one mountain to the other, and it's a bridge with ropes and wood, and the bridge is destabilizing. And we like, we on Blue Tears. We got the whole Knicks nation, Blue Tears fam. Like, come on. We trying to escape, and the bridge is about to fall down. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? I think that bridge done burned and it's falling down already with Randle. Listen, great player, great individual, but whatever transpired with him last season, I think, you know what? It's time to move on and go somewhere else. That's just my opinion. We can't re-sign him and keep him here. With everything that's been happening and transpired, like, I think that bridge done burnt already. You say we're going to cross that bridge when we get to it? I think that is a done deal where, you know what? If it doesn't happen right now or in this situation, I think in the trade deadlines and all that, before whatever, not Labor Day, after Christmas, whatever, I think that will be gone already. But I think we don't have to worry about number 30.
Okay.
And I think the front office knows about that. And listen, you have to keep things professional. Remember, if you do all this stuff, you're not going to say anything in the media or with the fans and all that. You're going to be professional about it.
Yeah,
they're not going to tell you anything. Yeah. Listen, I think that ship done sail, right? We done that ship done left the dock already. I think that ship done sailed already. As much as there's Randle fans, we like him. He's a good player. He should have stayed with such and such or such and such. I think that's already a done deal.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they're bringing Brunson to try and run it back with Julius. I want him to move Julius. I just don't see it happening just yet. Which that could hurt him. That could hurt his stock and could hurt the organization because Julius has had it out with this fan base, right?
But his stock been hurt before he had it out with a fan base. His stock been hurt already.
Yeah, no, that kind of plummeted because he was still a 20-5 guy. He had a couple of off games, and then what happened with when the fans started getting on his case, his value went down. And I honestly think if he comes out and have a bad start, this fan base has another gear that they can go to that can drive this guy out the arena.
Listen, our gears never die out because we got there's something called G oil. The old cars used to have G oil, gear oil, right? Remember carburetor? You spray the carburetor. Yep, then they came out with fuel injection spray, right? That's what I'm trying to tell you. No, what I'm trying to say is because we had Kemba and then they got rid of Kemba. So you telling me that the front office is trying to really appease Julius Randle because of that Kemba situation? I don't know.
Yes, they're according to Julius. They're going to give him another year. There's the relationship with Dolan, the CA connections, everything's there. They want to keep Julius. I don't see them finding it. They won't move Julius to give up assets or for a straight deal. If they're moving Julius, they want a player that's as good as Julius or better.
Right.
So they're not going to move him for nothing unless comes to the trade deadline and his value's even more shot and things are even worse. So I think
young boys got to step up.
They want to get him. They want to get him in the gym, get him in shape, get him balling out the first couple of games or the first half of the season, and then make the decision: are we keeping him or are we going to move him? They want to get him right first.
You see, when you want to get a player right, sometimes you got to put a player in. Go see a psychiatrist. Some things could be mentally disturbed or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know, but okay.
Yeah, well, what psychiatrist is going to help him be able to handle the back of New York City?
Well, he thought he was going to he want to put on his back. He thought he was going to put on his. He lost the city was
he got paid and come in out. The year of his the almighty fourth seed, his big year, he was in shape. He lost it last year when he got his bag and he come in out of shape. So that starts from no professionalism. So then when his performance goes down because he's out of shape and the fan base is on him, and then he tells the fan base where to go, that's where it leads to. So this kind of started with Julius not coming and being in shape.
So can you attribute
the performance was lacking, and the fans got on his head about the performance, and then that's everything builds off of that.
Can you attribute that to James Harden?
He needs to come in shape and drop 40 on opening night and be like, all right, I'm here for real, for the fans to actually get behind him. And even at that, I think if he gets his value high, then they will move him then. But I don't think they're going to move him just to move him.
So, Joe, let me ask you, can you attribute that to a James Harden situation? You get your money now. You got your bag. Now you want to eat cheeseburgers, double cheeseburgers with extra mac sauce. The Big Macs, extra fries, right? These kind of things. You got your bag. You don't care.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't put James Harden in Julius, even though I'm not a big James Harden fan, and I do think he's a little overrated by people. Though you can't put Julius Randle and James Harden in the same sentence or the same paper when it comes to
you get your bag and you show up and you not performing accordingly, right?
Yeah, but at that point, Harden was still winning games. Harden looked a lot better out of shape than Julius looks out of shape.
So it was a mental thing with Julius. So, okay.
It was all mental. It was, as I said, he was out of shape. He didn't look good. The fans got on him. He didn't like it, and he had it out with the fans. And I think it's just something that has to be repaired. And the only way it repairs is if he comes in all jacked up, ready to go, and starts dropping 40 and 30 pointers the first couple of games like he did that big season he had. That's the only way he's going to revive this with the Knicks.
most improved player, all-star player.
Yeah, that
right?
type of player or closer to it than he was this year.
So his head got swollen. You think Bobby Portis would have been in the same situation or reacted or be just like that or no? It's another asset we could have kept.
I
Let's
don't
just
know.
say if we didn't have Julius Randle and it was a Bobby Portis player, right? Do you think it would have been the same kind of situation or no? Because remember, if we're thinking about getting rid of Julius Randle, we need a power forward, and we got our two centers. You think that would have been right or no?
If we get rid of Julius, we don't need a power forward. We need a backup, a bench one that's going to give you 10 minutes a night. We don't need a power forward.
But I'm just saying, you have Bobby Portis, and then you have Obi Toppin, right? And then you have Mitchell Robinson and Jericho Sims and whatever rookies we got or whatever. I don't know. Do you think?
I'm good on Bobby Portis. I think he's more of a stretch 5 now than a 4. I'm okay. Bobby's happy up in Milwaukee, and I'm happy for him. I don't think he needs to come back down here again and win nothing.
But somebody that was going to compliment R.J. Barrett and your other young stars, the other young boys, right? Instead of you wanting to be the man and such, no? Or
I don't know, man.
I'm sorry to give you all these hard questions, but we all speculating, At least we didn't get Kyrie. At least he signed back with them. Thank God, because he was like, "Oh, the Knicks gonna get him." At least we didn't get him.
Oh, thank God.
Right. Yeah, and yo, State jumping on you, Chop.
I love State. I don't care. Jump on it, baby.
Yeah.
I'm just talking, bro. I don't even know. I want to know. That's what I'm learning. I want to know. I don't be following on. I only watch Knicks games. I don't watch nothing else going on. I only watch Knicks game. I don't care about anybody else, anything else. That's it. I'll just jump on here. State, get on me. State, jump in here. I miss State. I ain't see State in a minute.
Yeah, I ain't seen State in a minute either. You know what I'm saying? But what I would say to that, man, is, and I mentioned it some last night, and just for the record, okay, let me see. I see you, Eddie C. Hold on, let me do.
Oh, Eddie CZ, my Neezy.
Yeah. Let me do that. And so for the record, man, I just want to win, man. That's all, pretty much. It just point me in a direction of like the aspect of winning, and then I'll be satisfied with that. You know what I'm saying?
You think we're gonna win under Tibbs though, Uncle Freezy?
I don't think we're gonna win
with him coaching this team.
I think Tibbs. I think Tibbs, given the right tools, can get us into a winning atmosphere. Do I think he's a championship level coach? No. But I do think given all veterans, right? I think he could get us to like the Eastern Conference Finals or something like that once, right? But I don't think Tibbs is the guy that's gonna get you to the Larry O'Brien Trophy. What's up, Danny Landis?
Hey, Freezy, what's good? Joe D, what's up?
Yeah, man. Eddie C, what's good?
Yo, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing today?
Good, man. How you doing?
What's up, Eddie?
Man, you are an animal, bro. Eddie C, you are a monster, bro.
I got a couple of days before free agency, baby. Yes. Trying to get it all out.
Yeah, man. Hey, I enjoyed our conversation last night, bro. That was dope.
That was crazy, right?
That was crazy, bro. That was crazy, man.
A lot of you go to sleep, man.
Yeah, man. A lot of stuff. Man, we had a lot of stuff to talk about, man. There are a lot of rumors and such, a lot of speculation going around, man. The more I talk to you guys, the more I think this Jalen Brunson thing is real.
Yeah, I think it's done, or should be. I wouldn't. We're the Knicks. I'm never going to say done deal, but
yeah.
What do you think about that, Freezy?
I don't like it.
Personally, I don't like it.
But at the same time, I'm a Knicks fan.
What was the question again, Freeze? I actually didn't hear it, man. I had like
so I told him I think the Jalen Brunson thing is done, and then Danny asked me how did I like it, and I'm honest, man. I don't think I like it.
But if the Knicks do it, man, so be it. I mean, ain't nothing I can do, about it. The thing about the Jalen Brunson thing is not Jalen Brunson the player, right? It's all the stuff that we move to create cap space, right? Like you trade all this stuff to create cap space, and then you pay him all this money, and then we may only get about 4 or 5 more wins. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And so it looks like he's sacrificing the future for the present, right? Because you're gonna get rid of Nerlens Noel, the dude you signed last year, Alec Burks, the dude you signed last year, Kemba Walker, the dude you signed last year. You know what I'm saying? Trying to fix. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to be in that mode of seeing is believing. Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get to that place where seeing is believing. Right. I don't really care for all the stuff that lead up to it. I just want to see Jalen Brunson prove it in New York. Make me a believer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's why all this stuff about Brunson giving up all this stuff and and if he don't come here and turn the franchise around in like the first 2 seasons, then what did we really do? And then now the next team president got to come in and clean up this mess, right? And then say the same thing all over again. Like, we got to rebuild we got to tear it down to the studs. And then we got another 4 years on top of the 2 years we've been waiting. So you talking about, like, man, it's just crazy. And then I watched the Detroit Pistons go from the number 1 pick in the draft last year to a team that might knock on the playoffs this year. And who do they pass to get to that position? The New York Knicks.
I mean, if they do that, then that's beautiful. That means we get their pick next year, right?
yeah, they have to make it second round. I think to make the pick because it's like top 18 protected. But that thing by 2024, 2025, it's gonna be good.
I was just about to go there, just to recheck what exactly it was. If you by any chance have it there, Madden, that'd be kind of useful right now.
So it's top 18 protected 2023, 2024, top 16 protected 2025, top 12 2026, and then 2027 is top 9, and then turns to 2 or 3 seconds after that. So it will convey within the 5 years.
Yeah.
So probably 2025 sounds good.
2024, 2025. Yeah, if it's top 12 protect. Yeah, 2025 seems more realistic because they'll have to make the second round both of the next 2, or at least next year or the year after, for that to convey.
So,
right.
But what I'm getting at is what? Okay, so we're talking about 5 years, right? For this pick, potentially, right?
Potentially 5, but more likely 2 years after this year.
And more likely for another team.
Could be 2. But even though, okay, so now the question is, they got they're an upstart team. They look pretty nice on paper. That's a dominant backcourt as young as they can be. That's a young backcourt that anybody would be salivating over. Doesn't mean that they're going to win games next year. Doesn't mean that they're going to beat us with all that talent. I mean, they still have they have to develop it. The coach has won Rookie of the Year and has gotten evicted right after. They still have a lot of work to do. You what you're telling me is this, Freezer. You rather change places with Detroit? and the New York Knicks. You rather be a
No.
Detroit Piston? No.
No, that's not what I said.
Well, what
Okay,
I
so
say
I
is,
put something. I put those words in
roster
your
in
mouth.
Knicks jerseys. I'd rather have Ivy and Cade in a Knicks uniform than in a Pistons uniform. But it's Knicks or nothing. But I do like a lot of their roster. They have some pieces I would really like on the Knicks. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, they lost a lot of games the last few years to do that.
Yeah, they did. Once they got rid of Blake Griffin, they went into complete tank mode.
And we have been a team for the past 2 years that's been an over 500 team, middle of the pack team.
You said we've been over a 500 team, or
the past 2 years since this regime has taken over and Tom Thibodeau has been the head coach, we're above 500, I believe.
Yeah, I think all together. Yeah,
altogether we're 2 games over 500.
And this is probably why the organization wanted to keep Tibbs as a head coach.
I think they want to give it another. They
Another
feel
shot.
that they feel that they had a overachieving first year and underachieving second year. So let's see what the third year brings us, which should be somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle, yeah, 6, 7, like top. It's 7, 8 seed in the play-in, home court advantage in the play-in, that type of thing. I think that's what they believe, and they rather have that and have a shot at the play-in than lose and put the job in jeopardy, because then they'll have to fire Tibbs. It's a restart. So I think they view this thing as more of a run for the playoffs. But as I said, I do like Brunson. I like the move, but I don't like it when it's on his own. They have to bring somebody else in with him. There has to be another chess move.
I think it's actually what's to our benefit, at least for next year, because the premise is, okay, let's say we make the play-in, right? The goal next year is to probably make the play-in.
Or
and
not
if we make the playoffs, okay, that's fine. But if we don't make the playoffs, that means we're a lottery team next year for a very stacked draft class with a bunch of assets to try to move up for a player that we might think can give us a jolt. So at the end of the day, we might be coming out with a very good pick next year.
Okay.
Jalen Brunson, and still have the assets to get another player. So, because I'm not the one to say that if we bring Jalen Brunson in here, he's going to be, all world, and he's going to take us to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like,
what if he does, though?
That's great. But I'm not putting that pressure on him, and I'm not putting that pressure on myself as a Knicks fan. Like, I'm just going to go with the flow and see what happens.
Okay.
But to say that it's not a good deal to get him, I think that's wrong to say. I think he's a good piece. He's 25, going on 26 years old. Did some remarkable things in the playoffs. And, he's small. Yeah, he's like 6'1", right? And I say that because yesterday we were talking about the backcourt, and I was saying maybe we get Donovan Mitchell. And Freezy said, so you're going to have like the world's smallest backcourt because Brunson is 6'1" and Donovan Mitchell 6'1".
Yeah.
But at this point in time, Utah has that same thing. Mike Conley is 6'1".
Yeah.
But Mike Conley, his time is over.
They've made the playoffs with it. It hasn't looked pretty in the playoffs at times, but they've at least made the playoffs with it in a stacked West, so it can work. They just have to be their two small the right guards complement each other for it to work. Which I think at one point Conley and Mitchell look well together, but just I think now it's expired a little bit with Conley's age and
right. So I was when I was talking about that yesterday, I was trying to bring that. It really doesn't matter to me what the height is as long as they can play. And one is 25 and the other's going to be 26. It can happen. They can make it work.
But see, that's the next thing I'm going to ask. Listen, everybody, we always talk about, this player is 25. He is over now. He's not going to be successful in the league. He's old. Does that even make a difference?
No, see the thing with Brunson is I still think he has another gear. Like you look like this, like the James Harden situation, like that. James Harden was younger. There was way more upside. Like, but his situation in OKC, where coming off the bench, was playing behind other guys, you've seen a little bit of potential, but
And how old
Then
was he when he was in
made a change of
OKC?
scenery and got the ball in his
wasn't he-
hands, he
wasn't
took
he
off. I'm not saying
19,
Brunson's
20?
going to do that, but Brunson, I think, can be a lot better when he has the
Right.
ball in his hands and he's more of a focal point of the offense. But my issue, though, is does that work on this team with the spacing issues? So that the fit has to be right, too, for Brunson to be really successful, to take that next step. So that's why I do believe there has to be some sort of other move to bring somebody else in, preferably a shooter, to open up that floor, because I just the starting lineup's
Fournier
not
is not
gonna
the shooter.
really.
Fournier is not the shooter.
He's a
He was
shooter, but
starting.
it's the only thing he does.
Right. But he's not the shooter for Brunson, is what you're saying as well.
No, I think he broke the Knicks 3-point record last year. I think he'll break it 3 times that with a point guard.
Wasn't it Sprewell
issue.
9 threes in a game? Sprewell or no? And then he broke that or what?
No, I think it was his total season 3-point record, season. And then I think didn't he equal the most 3-pointers in a game or something with the Knicks? Or so, he had something like some records. But what I'm saying is, like, I think with Randle, RJ, and Mitch on the floor, it's not going to work. You're going to have to take Randle, or it's not going to be RJ. They're going to re-sign. So that Randle has to be moved, or Mitch, to bring in some extra shooting.
Or it has to be a coach adjustment.
Yes. Or there has to be a coach adjustment, or Randle's 3-point shooting has to go back up to 40% again, or closer to it.
Was that an interview, like a podcast that Fred Katz supposedly said some Knicks news today, or was it an article?
I think it was something with Jake Fisher, right? A sit-down podcast, I think it was.
And does anybody have a link to that podcast? Because I would really like to hear, because there were tweets out there that were, and I don't know if they're true or not, of them moving Nerlens Noel, them moving another piece, them asking.
Oh yeah, the teams have shown interest in Julius, or the Knicks and teams have talked about Julius.
Right. So if anybody has that link, or anybody has that pod, like, I would like to listen to that and see, because people get stuff taken out of context.
Right.
And I want to make sure, because
I seen the tweet too. I didn't hear the interview, so I don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah.
And you're right, because we always take things out of context. We really don't understand, because they just put things cryptically, and then we like, then we gotta speculate and comment on it and come up with our own assessment. And
yeah, and that's not the right way to go, because you could be talking nonsense.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to see if I can find that, because I mean, supposedly he was talking out of his mouth, and Fred Katz is somebody that I see on Twitter a lot, and I don't see any tweet specifically from him. So I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt for now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he might have been brought up in conversation, and it was just something that might have been brought up, but something that's not really ideal. It might be something he heard other teams might be talking with Julius or talking with the Knicks about trading for Julius. I just love to know what teams they were and what the package it'd be. Say if that was real.
Yeah. Well, if you're just speaking hypothetically, I would say that it's playoff teams.
Yeah,
I would say that it's a team that thinks that Julius can help them get over the hump. One team that comes to mind is the Denver Nuggets. They've been at the precipice of going to the finals and stuff like that, and they might be able to need a powerful player down low to help out Jokic, and even supplement Jokic in some of their offensive sets. And I think Randle can do that for them.
And that may be a conflict of interest for Julius Randle and Jokic, because they both need the ball. They want to score. I don't know.
Well, Jokic is such an easy player to play with that, as long as you
has no choice.
You do certain simple things, like you're gonna get touches. Like, he moves the ball really, really well.
Yeah, he's a great assist. Yeah,
wizard.
He's a great assist player.
Yeah.
But we always get the short end of the stick. That's my whole thing is because out of everything we do, if it was me, Eddie C, and Freezy stuck in the elevator, and Freezy like, I got a pencil. I was like, you got the pencil with the erase on the top? He's like, yo, we're gonna break this thing in 3 pieces. Somebody got to climb up the top and get on the top of the elevator and go get help, and then I might get the short end of the stick. Like I got it, cause Chop, you're the smallest dude.
In that sense, we're gonna be smart. Me and Freezy are the biggest guys. You're the skinniest, so we're gonna just push you on top of the elevator, and you do all the
Like we
work, and
always
we'll
get the
wait for
short
you.
end of the stick.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And you have to help me. Yeah, you have to push me up.
But well, yeah, that was my question. What did you think about the Julius Randle? And I think the best thing to do would probably to wait at least, not trade him right now, but at the deadline, because a lot of things happen in the NBA. You know, people get injured. People think they're in the hunt for something, and they can use a piece. So you know, it might open up other doors that at this point in time isn't open, which is the same case with Brunson. Um, you know, I want to disbarge this notion of, you know, the Knicks taking back trading assets because they're fixing up their mistakes per se. I've heard that narrative being talked about a lot. And I don't think that's actually the case, because at this point in time, when they made those transactions, when they got Kemba Walker, when they signed Nerlens Noel, when they signed Derrick Rose and all these guys that, you know, and I think we can probably separate our guys, the ones that we re-signed and the ones that we signed. Jalen Brunson wasn't feasible. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Brunson wasn't the type of player that he was at the beginning of the year.
At that time, yeah.
Right, because you know, if he was that guy, Dallas would have gave him the 55 mil, right? So at that point in time when those transactions were made, Jalen Brunson probably wasn't a name. You know, now the season has transpired, and we've seen the jump the playoffs went through. We've seen what he did in the playoffs. We've seen him play. We've seen what he does to defenses, because he's a one-on-one. I think he's okay too.
And he's 6'1", right?
Yeah, he's 6'1". Right at the end of the season, when he becomes a name and he becomes somebody that you can get, then you have to try to do what you can to get off the money so you can sign the player. So it's not fixing up their mistakes. It's just, what's the plan now, right after seasons end, right after drafts come about, after all this situation, is what's the best course of action at that point in time? Because we can't talk about why did they do that back then if Jalen Brunson, which is the player that we want right now, didn't exist. Now he exists, so then now the Knicks put into motion what they do in trading the assets to get off some of the paper that they spent, so then they can have the cap room to sign said player.
So now he's showing improvement, like he's a Fred VanVleet. So everybody want him now.
I compared him to Fred VanVleet not too long ago. I did that myself, yeah.
Oh, I just thought about that. Okay.
And
and I'm not just talking. I'm just asking. I don't know.
The difference is that was
Sorry,
Toronto. Guys. Toronto built that player up, and they know him very well. So they decided to then re-sign him because they knew what they had in him. You know what I'm saying? With us, you know, the connections help us. You know, being with his father and stuff like that. I got some static, man. I don't know if that's me.
Yeah, I heard it. I can't figure out what it is. That's what I'm kind of working on.
It's not me. Check it. It's not me.
I don't know, and I can't see it on the screen. So, yeah, I thought it was Danny, but Danny gone, and it still happened. So,
What about you, Chop? Can you mute yourself for a second? I don't hear it anymore. I think it might be coming from you, Chop.
Nah, it sounds like a saw. You got a saw.
Yeah, I heard
going
somebody
on in the
sawing something in
background?
the back. You heard that? I thought it was a saw.
Yeah.
They
Well,
doing Willie Wallen.
that's my wife.
Oh yes. Oh man, you play okay.
But it sounds like
You
static.
doing
It
a new
doesn't sound
towel
like
on the backsplash in the back in the kitchen?
All right, I'll mute myself.
Yeah. Okay. There it is. We good. We good. So do you guys seeing who is this guy that's coming along with Jalen Brunson that the Knicks are? Do you think that it is for sure Donovan Mitchell?
I cannot comment or speculate. I have no idea. I don't know anything. Everything I get and listen to and know about is from you guys, or I listen to ESPN and such and such. But what about this kid from Duke? He's a 6'4". He looked great. I don't know.
I mean, listen, Freezy, there's a lot of things that's happening, and at this moment right now on Twitter, there's a lot of things that's happening with the Utah Jazz. David Fizdale has agreed to become an associate GM for the Utah Jazz. David Fizdale.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Holy moly.
What?
And the Utah Jazz has offered Boston Celtics assistant Will Hardy the franchise head coaching job, and he's finalizing a deal to accept the job. I don't know. I've never heard of Will Hardy. So they're under a lot of turmoil. And I don't know if Donovan Mitchell is down for that, man. Not saying that he's gonna go to the Knicks because there's a lot of appeasing. I always tell you guys, we the ugly girl at the prom. There's a lot of pretty girls out there. You know what I'm saying? Miami Heat is out there. You know, he can go wherever he could go to LA. He could go wherever he wants. You know what I'm saying? We always at the back of the.
I wouldn't say we're the ugly girl. I think we're the pretty girl that has a lot of mouth, but that's crazy. So some guys are afraid to go touch her because there's a bit of.
I think we're the pretty girl that her breath stinks. So. You know what I'm saying, man? So
you might have pretty girl and you never come back.
Pretty as hell, but her breath stinks.
I want to answer your question.
I like to say that we're the ugly girl, though.
I like to answer the question that you posted about
yeah, go ahead.
Donovan Mitchell.
Shoot.
See, we're talking about Tom Thibodeau here, right? And in order for his system to thrive, in order for his teams to thrive, it got to be some type of defense in the backcourt. And I just don't see how we can talk about or even consider as fans adding short dudes into our backcourt. I don't care if they're willing to play defense. I don't care if they play hard. The fact of the matter is, can they defend at the point of attack?
Yep.
And that's what it boils down to. And with Tom Thibodeau, he doesn't run many pick and rolls in his offense. It's a lot of ISOs. So his game, the way he coaches is predicated strictly off of getting stops. So who on our team is going to get a stop if we can't defend anybody from the point of attack with these athletic point guards playing in the NBA?
Bro, even if I look at the lineup without Mitchell and you look up like the current lineup, say if it's Brunson, Fournier, RJ, Randle, Mitch, even that lineup, nobody's stopping nobody. So you put Donovan Mitchell to that and take, say, RJ or whatever pieces out, it's going to be worse. So I don't see the Mitchell thing real right now, because if it was real, I don't think they'd be going after Brunson. Because as you're right, the size, that's the Minnie Mouse, 2 6-foot backcourt. That's not going to win anything. You even struggle in the league to even play with like a bigger point guard and a smaller shooting guard. You need 6'5", 6'6" shooting guards in this league now. I think it's always been that to win, right?
Right.
So I don't know if the Mitchell thing's real. Because if the Mitchell thing was real, they wouldn't be doing Brunson right now.
So we have RJ and Cam.
So I'm gonna give you combinations, right? At the 1 and 2. Let's just say we get Brunson. Y'all say it's most likely in the bag that we get him. Here's the 1 and 2 combinations: point guard Brunson, 2 guard, possibly Evan Fournier, 2 guard, possibly RJ Barrett, 2 guard, possibly until Alec Burks is gone, he's still on the team. Alec Burks, 2 guard, possibly Quentin Grimes. The only person I see who could play next to Jalen Brunson that could actually work in Tom Thibodeau's system is Quentin Grimes, and I'm just talking about his defense on the perimeter. RJ, he showed flashes of being capable of playing defense, but I don't think he's as consistent as Quentin Grimes is right now. So again, on the defensive end. So when it comes to Tom Thibodeau's system, again, it's defense first and then offense later on. So again, if Brunson's on the team, and if we're talking about bringing somebody else in, who's going to defend at the point of attack? Because it can't be Brunson. Y'all can't convince me that Brunson can defend at the point of attack against players like SGA, against players like just any athletic player in general. So, like, who's he going to defend at the point of attack?
I don't know. Didn't Jalen Brunson guard Chris Paul?
Chris Paul is the same size. That's the size difference is what kills you with like SGA and like Dejounte Murray and these bigger guards.
Yeah, that's.
But the backcourt for the Dallas Mavericks is Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic.
But
I think that's really far from a defensive.
It is, but Luka Doncic's offense, we got to be real here. Luka Doncic's offense helps
exceeds
way more than his defense hurts.
Yeah, so then the premise of the Mitchell conversation holds value to what you're trying to say right now.
So, okay, let me get this straight. So you think Donovan Mitchell's offense will help us way more than his defense will hurt us?
If we're talking about the premise of the defense being the liability,
right,
and then we're talking about how Dallas's backcourt is offensive minded, yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
See, the thing with me with Donovan Mitchell, and that's what hasn't worked out in Utah, is Donovan Mitchell should be playing the point. And I think if the Knicks bring him in, he should be playing the point. And you put four big shooters around him, and that's what Utah failed to do. Is they put him in, so they put him as the primary ball handler, but at the 2 with a small point guard beside him. So what the Knicks need to be doing is you can't put him at the 2. If the Knicks bring him in, he should be playing the 1, RJ at the 2, and then you fill out your 3, 4, 5 with long shooters, defensive shooters, 3-and-D guys.
I don't think that Donovan Mitchell is in the same caliber as a Luka Doncic. I don't think he has the same impact on his team that Luka Doncic has on his team offensively. I think Luka Doncic, the type of impact that he has on his team when healthy, is similar to the impact Stephen Curry has on his team when healthy. I don't think Donovan Mitchell is on that level. Am I wrong?
But we were talking about as in is the scoring going to overcome the defensive deficiencies? We didn't talk about comparing the two as who's the Hall of Famer and who's this. We're talking about the player, the talent, and the scoring ability against the defense.
Yeah, right. So what you're talking about is it can only work if we're only talking about outscoring everything that we go against. Right, that's the only way I could see it working is if we're talking about playing a D'Antoni offense, which Tom Thibodeau is the antithesis of. He's the complete opposite of D'Antoni. He likes his pace to be a lot more slower. So when you place dudes like what's his name, Donovan Mitchell and Brunson, okay, how is that going to work? That's my question. How is that going to work at the point of attack? We don't know if Cam Reddish is going to be healthy or not. I'm a big Cam Reddish fan. I'm more high on him than I am anybody on the team. But if he's not healthy, then yeah, the onus is going to be on Jalen Brunson, and we can't sit there and say, well, we need more pieces. Jalen Brunson, if he's not doing well, we can't get on him. Nope, you getting paid this money, you finna get this work too, just like Julius.
So let me ask you this question. How will the Knicks at the point of attack, how good were the Knicks at the point of attack when Elfrid Payton was our starting point guard?
They was pretty decent. It was pretty decent. Yeah, it was pretty decent. Elfrid Payton, as far as a defensive point guard, was I would say he's the best defensive point guard we had on the Knicks in the past 15 years.
Okay, so who would you rather have on your team? Being that you're a person that, and I'm with you because I'm a defensive guy myself.
Right.
But you also have to round out your team, and you have to see, sometimes you can't just ask for certain things. We need to look at it as a whole.
You asked me would I rather have between Elfrid Payton and Jalen Brunson?
Yep.
I would rather have Elfrid Payton.
Oof.
See,
that's where the difference lies.
Exactly. I don't value. You're talking to somebody who doesn't. I'm not saying Jalen Brunson is a scrub. I'm talking about what works with Tom Thibodeau. Even though Elfrid Payton wasn't doing what we liked him to do, he was doing exactly what Tom Thibodeau needed him to do. So if I had to choose between a point guard who's offensively gifted in terms of getting his shots off, or another point guard who's 6'3", 6'4", who could defend at the point of attack, if I had to choose between defense and offense, I'm gonna choose defense.
I
think what you got to think about best is choosing a better player
around Thibodeau this year, because I'm nearly full sure the front office is thinking I'm building this thing past Thibodeau. If it don't work with Thibodeau, he gone. So that's where I think the thing is, they're trying to change Thibodeau's ways, and if Thibodeau doesn't adjust or don't like it, he's gonna be gone. So I think they're just trying to build this thing the way they want to build it, not how Thibodeau wants to build it. And the way they want to build it, they want a ball handed and point guard.
That's a valid point. I won't argue that. That's my only statement is, if Tom Thibodeau's coaching his team, I don't see our team being successful without a 1-2 punch at the point guard and shooting guard position who can defend. That's all. Unless he's going to give Quentin Grimes more minutes, and RJ Barrett steps up and be consistent on that end.
Does anybody have Jalen Brunson's defensive ratings? I mean, I don't know where even I would go for something like that, but
it's not terrible. I think it's just his height is the big concern, and it's concern with me defensively, but I'm not as concerned because I think his offense outweighs the defense. To me, what Elfrid Payton his offense was so bad that the defense didn't even matter to me on that point.
I disagree with you, Joe. I think the player who deserves that label would be Frank Ntilikina. I think Frank Ntilikina offense was so bad that it hurt us way more than his defense. His defense helped us.
When we're talking about Frank Ntilikina, in what sense?
You said what?
We're talking about Frank Ntilikina in what sense?
I said that label of, he said that Elfrid Payton's defense, even though it was good, his offense was so bad that his defense didn't matter. And my response to that was, I think that label should be placed on Frank Ntilikina when he was with us. His defense was spotty. Sometimes it was inconsistent, but his offense was always a negative for us overall.
Yeah, I don't even think that Frank Ntilikina is in the conversation.
I can't put Elfrid Payton in that same conversation as Frank Ntilikina when it comes to impact on the court.
Yeah, you know, Eddie, in 5 or 6 years, to be like, Frank Ntilikina is going to come up at some point in some conversation.
Oh God, yeah. I think we should like.
Still got the
I like the kid, the potential, but he never. You know, he's just another Dante Exum to me.
Yeah, another Phil Jackson whiff. You look at these picks. Oof,
so yeah, I mean, but I'm with you in the sense of, because me myself, I also like defense. I like to have length, pause. I like players that are tall. You know what I'm saying? That have big wingspans. I like all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the times when you get certain players like this, you draft these type of players because you're drafting players on potential. So some of the times, like we drafted a Jericho Sims who's 6'8" or 6'9", but he can jump out the gym. So you're drafting his length, his jumping ability. You know what I'm saying? His agility, and that's how sometimes you get these type of players. You have to draft these type of players.
I'm gonna give you 3 players' names: Tony Roten, Jeremy and Grant, Emmanuel Mudiay. How tall was these players? These point guards that was on our team?
They were about 6'4", 6'5", I guess.
6'4" to 6'6", right?
Right.
Then didn't they come through to our team?
I believe
The reason why I state these names is because I feel as though we do get these players. They get injured for 1 year, we give up on them. They ball out for 1 year or whatever, we give up on them. Why? Because we always start chasing.
But they're not good. They're not good, Don P. Like they're not good players. Tony Wooten is not a good player.
Tony Wooten was balling with the 76ers.
No, don't get it confused, bro. Don't get it confused, bro. Balling is when you do it in the NBA year after year, and you do it in the playoffs year after year. That's balling. Balling is not, you had one player that you really liked and he's nice and you think he looks nice on the court and this and that. You know what I'm saying? That's not balling, dog.
So let me ask you this. So when somebody's injured and they don't play, that don't mean that they wasn't balling beforehand.
Because if you're not a player that can stay on the court, that adds to you not balling.
All right. So was Mudiay balling for us?
We had that was the best year I think Mudiay had in his whole career.
But was he balling?
We were running at Zion.
I don't equate the word balling, you know what I'm saying, to somebody who had a pretty good middling to lesser year. I don't equate that to a guy balling. Like Stephen Curry this year balled. You know what I'm saying? Ja Morant be balling. You know what I'm saying? Julius Randle the year after last was balling. You know what I'm saying? There's differences of balling and there's differences of players who you might say, you know what I'm saying? Like this guy, like Emmanuel Quickley, to me, he's not balling.
No,
you know what I'm saying? He's a good player. He has good spurts. He can probably go off this and there, but I wouldn't equate that Emmanuel Quickley to somebody who's balling.
See, no, I asked you, was Emmanuel Mudiay balling? You told me.
No,
that
I don't think he was balling, bro. I think he had a decent season. He was the only point guard that we had, and Fizdale funneled a lot of the offense through him, which helped equate to the numbers that he had.
And you don't think that was the same case for RJ now? And Julius Randle?
With RJ in what sense? Like
you're talking about he had more opportunities. He had a lot of like he has the keys basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if RJ has the keys to the ball, he has way more opportunities to fail, to work through his mistakes, to go through his slumps, to do all of that. Basically the same thing Emmanuel Mudiay went through, right? On his first year with the Knicks. On his second year with the Knicks, wasn't he getting 30 points per game when he went against the Bucks? He single-handedly beat the Bucks twice. He single-handedly went toe-to-toe with Atlanta Hawks with Trae Young. I think they lost the game.
So you saying that RJ Barrett last year was balling?
No, I wouldn't say RJ Barrett was balling. I'm just saying that RJ Barrett has the opportunity to get right more so than anybody on our squad.
Yeah, we just have totally different aspects of when, like, you remember that playoff series when the Utah Jazz was playing the Denver Nuggets and like Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray was going back to back, attacking each. My man, that's balling.
You said that's balling? Yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
That's balling. Emmanuel Mudiay having the season that he had when he was playing with us, that doesn't equate to somebody balling.
So let me ask y'all this.
Okay.
Let me ask y'all this. Do you see two difference makers in free agency that can help this team get better? Two.
Zach LaVine.
I'm glad you said that, Freezy.
What's up, Sarge? How you doing?
Great. Actually, could you bring up the graphic here? I mean, this video, by the way, the graphics tight, real tight. But yesterday you had a list of restricted and unrestricted free agents, all the names up. I was just about to ask the same question. Bring up the names you had: Simons, Levine. I don't even still have that chart.
Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
So everyone gets a real good picture of what's out there. Yeah, there we go. And I was going to ask a question of pick one or two. I mean, exclude Kyrie, of course, and probably Harden, and maybe even Beal. But pick one or two of those players, any combination, and say which of those on the Knicks, minus Noel, Burks, and of course Kemba, let's say we keep everybody else, which of those two can impact the team to make us go where? What will it be next year? 40, 500, etc. So yeah, go ahead.
I say take four of these dudes.
Take four.
And I think four of them are attainable. Right? Okay. I think Mitch is one. Mitchell Robinson.
Right. Okay.
Bring back Mitch. Bring in Malik Monk. That's two.
Yeah. For how much you signed Mitchell for?
Well, hold on. Slow down.
Okay.
Mitchell Robinson is one, right? Malik Monk is the other, right? Jalen Brunson is a done deal, right? And for the most part, we believe Jalen Brunson is a done deal because you don't move heaven and earth to go after a guy and not get him.
Oh shit!
And
Right? Hold on. And then the other is a gamble on either Colin Sexton at somewhere between 17 to 20 million, or Victor Oladipo to revive his career. Now, if you do that, if you get those four, Sarge, listen, this is the thing. If you do those four, what do you do with the guys that you currently have? Right? What do you do with Burks, Fournier, Grimes, McBride, Rose, Kemba? Well, Kemba's gone already. Right? What I say is this. What I'm asking you is this. Did Grimes and McBride impress you enough in their limited minutes to say that you cement their rotation, their place in the rotation? I'm gonna say no.
No.
I'm gonna say no, right?
No.
And so I believe I can take the gamble on three of these young guys, right? Mitch, Malik Monk, Jalen Brunson, right? And then Sexton or Oladipo. At the end of the day, Colin Sexton and those other young guys, Colin Sexton, Malik Monk, all those other guys are all in the same age range, that 23, 24 range, right? And then you have Brunson, who will be 26 when the season starts, right? If you got to go this free agent route, because y'all already know my opinion. My opinion is scorch the earth and let our kids play.
Right.
But if you got to go spend bread in free agency, if that's your plan, right, to spend bread in free agency, I'm saying go after these four guys, right? And so y'all are gonna ask, well, who's gonna start at shooting guard? I don't care. Let them figure it out in training camp. Is Malik Monk better than Colin Sexton? We don't know. Let them battle it out in training camp. Can Victor Oladipo revive his career, be an NBA starter? Or is he doomed to be a six-man or a man off the bench because of injuries? I don't know. I don't even care. You know what I'm saying? What I care about is our backcourt not being the worst backcourt that this Knicks franchise has ever seen. Right? If Victor Oladipo wants to be a player in this league, let him beat out Malik Monk and Colin Sexton and prove to the world that Victor Oladipo is back. You put him on an incentive an incentive deal, like like 2 years and a team option for a third season, right? That way you can have him play out 1 year, see if he can stay healthy. If he doesn't do anything, then he's an expiring contract the next year. So now he's an asset, right? The kid Malik Monk, I'm offering him the same type deal. Colin Sexton, I'm offering him 4 years, probably around 18 million, and offering him a large sum of minutes at point and the 2, right? Because the thing you probably need again with a Jalen Brunson is a dude that's going to help him take on point guard duties. And basically what I'm getting at is if you have to do, if this front office is hell bent on, like if you can't change their mind about free agency, then I would take this route here as opposed to putting all your eggs in one basket. And if you swing and miss, you set the franchise back 4 years. Yeah, I feel what I'm saying. Like bring these guys in and say, I'm telling Colin Sexton off rip, hey bro, all you have to do is beat out Quentin Grimes. All you have to do is occupy the spot that Evan Fournier held down, right? All you have to do is fill Alec Burks' spot, right? That's all we asking you to do. We're not asking you to win us a championship. We're asking you to help contribute to a team that already has star power in the front court with R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson, right? All I'm asking is for some balance because our team, for all its flaws, right, was not a bad team. It was just out of balance. The backcourt contributed nothing. Right? We talk about Evan Fournier's 3-point record. Whoop-de-doo. He took enough shots. You know what I'm saying? I mean, whoop-de-doo. And then that John Starks record was low-hanging fruit. Right? If we had Buddy Hield would have beat that record 4 seasons ago. Right? So Sarge, I'm glad you asked me that. What I'm saying to you guys is this. Tom Thibodeau, his offense looks archaic because the backcourt was terrible. But if you add anything to the backcourt, and I think that's the reason why they're going after Jalen Brunson so hard. If you add anything to the backcourt, this team has the potential to be a playoff team, right? How deep in the playoffs? It depends on if R.J. Barrett gets his shot back, right? It depends if Julius Randle can get space to operate. He didn't have space to operate because the guards were terrible. I hear people keep saying Julius Randle's shot was broken. If they were watching games, they would understand that defenses did not respect our backcourt. They're like, Julius Randle always ISO at the top. Well, when you got 5 sets of eyes on you and nobody respecting the guards that you put on the floor, of course Randle is going to struggle. Of course RJ is going to go. When RJ goes to the basket, it's going to look like he running through the bushes and thickets, right? Trying to get to the rim. Sarge, you ever ran through the forest? You ever ran through the woods?
Oh man!
You know how all them branches be tearing you up when you be running? Yeah. That's what RJ have to go through to get to the paint and for this team because nobody respects our guards because all they are spot up shooters. It's like we took Reggie Bullock, we sent Reggie Bullock away for doing that and replaced him with 4 more guys that did the same thing Reggie Bullock did. You remember how mad we were because Reggie Bullock couldn't put the ball on the floor? And then we replaced Reggie Bullock with a whole bunch of dudes that don't put the ball on the floor. Right? And nobody says anything about that. They just complain about Randle and RJ. Right? Come on, basketball minds. We smarter than that. Knicks fans are smarter. Yo, we are not the Memphis Grizzlies fan base, bro. We are a smart fan base. We watch the games. Right? This is not the Washington Wizards fan base, bro. We too smart for that. You know you don't have an all-star caliber guard. So why are you blaming Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett for everything? Blaming Tibbs for everything. Cats is like, fire Tibbs. Fire Tibbs. Meanwhile, the guard play is terrible. And you would think fans from New York City would recognize that we don't have a Rod Strickland on this roster. Right? Nick, we've been complaining this whole time about a bunch of stuff. Like, yo, Randle trash. We was like, Randle, but Randle ain't Rod Strickland. Randle ain't Mark Jackson. Man, Randle is not Kenny Anderson. We don't have a Kenny Anderson on this roster. We don't have a Rod Strickland on this roster. Nowhere. We don't have that anytime. We don't even have a Marcus Smart on this roster. Right? We don't have a Steph Curry, a Ja Morant, a Damian Lillard, a John Wall, Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine. We don't have a DeJounte Murray, a Trae Young. Right? We got Alec Burks. But we blaming Randle. Come on, y'all, with the misdirection, man. Come on.
I'm freezing. Bring these. Why I think fans are high on Quickley, because Quickley's game looks actually a lot prettier than it does when he's playing with when you're watching Burks and these guys for so long. And I think that's their main reason why Brunson might be their main target, whether people like it or not. He's the most efficient, one of the most efficient guards, if not the most efficient guard in the league at 6'1". Shoots 50% from the field. So that's I think the main reasons, because the efficiency of the backcourt was so bad last year.
Yeah. We blaming Randle though, but hey, we blaming Randle. We blame Randle and RJ for everything, bro. We blame Randle and RJ for everything. We traded for Denzel Valentine and then cut him, but that's Randle's fault. What are we doing out here?
That was my point earlier, Freezy. We get some pieces, and then we just either trade them off or we just let them go. They could be valuable pieces. They don't got to be stars, but they can play the role to the team. They could give us just exactly what we need. Ronnie Brewer, when he was playing for Chicago Bulls, he wasn't much else on any other team, but he was exactly the two guard Tom Thibodeau need to play beside Derrick Rose in order for
Derrick Rose, right?
Exactly.
Ronnie Brewer he replaced Keith Bogans. Remember Keith Bogans? Keith Bogans is the exact same dude.
Yup. Yeah, I think that's only when I'm coming from with Tom Thibodeau. With him, I think he's the type of coach that he wants to play a certain way. Now, as far as us, getting rid of him, that's another story altogether. But if you guys are talking about competing, we can't put certain players on this team that just doesn't match what Tom Thibodeau's trying to do. He likes to run a slower pace. That's all.
Right, but Tibbs has been saying all year that he wanted to run, but our guards don't have the capacity to run. They don't get the ball because, our guards are trash, bro. Our guards are trash, and that's the reason why the front office look at the same stuff. The same numbers that we look at on Cleaning the Glass, on Synergy, on StatMuse, on NBA.com, ESPN, all these numbers that we look at, they look at the same thing, probably have them before we do, right? They know our guards are trash. Why do you think they trying to go get Brunson instead of giving Quickley the opportunity to be the starting point guard? Because they don't have faith. They don't have faith in Quickley.
See, I wouldn't mind that if Brunson was the only option, but was he the only option?
I don't know what to tell you about that. What I would say about that though is this, like, because I can't speak to how Brunson will play in the Garden on this roster on that huge deal, right? Because if Brunson struggle a little bit,
I'm on him.
After coming in being anointed the number one, I don't know if Knicks fans are going to turn on him. I guess it's his personality. If his personality can handle it, then they probably won't turn on him.
So, right? So Free, do you think Jalen Brunson's going to be the number one? You think they're going to Randle's being demoted to the number two?
Yep.
I'm back,
right? Because here's the thing. I've been doing this thing for a long time. Right, I've been in this space right here for a long time. The reason why people are hard on Julius Randle is not because he looked like a number one somewhere else, but they say because he makes the most money. And I keep forgetting the Spider-Man reference, but they say when with big checks come big responsibility. Is that how it is?
Yep.
And so if Brunson come here on a big check, it's going to bring big responsibility. See, because if Brunson come here and be the number one guy, or come here making the biggest check, you can't blame Randle for everything. A lot of people's eye is because Randle at a time where people was making $37 million a year, Randle was making 19, but he was our Knicks' highest paid player. So everybody blamed Randle for everything, right? When Cats was making 37, Randle was making 19, and people blame Randle for everything. Still do. Still blame Randle. They dislike Randle because they use excuses like, well, his body language. I saw Steph Curry throw his mouthpiece in the 10th row, right? The NBA fined him $75,000, right? The organization didn't say nothing, right? Organization didn't say a thing, right? I saw Draymond Green get kicked out of the NBA Finals, and he was making $24 million a year. He got kicked out of an NBA Finals game, right?
Yeah.
Suspended. And nobody said a thing, but Julius Randle argued with the refs, and Knicks fans are crying.
Because
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I saw LeBron James. I saw LeBron James follow a referee arguing all the way to the table. LeBron got teched up by that ref, and then the next day he appealed the tech and won. And we blame Julius Randle for arguing with the refs. Luka Doncic is the worst crybaby in the league. And I just heard you guys praise him like he was Jesus H. Christ. Right? Oh, he's the best player. All this stuff about Luka. And everybody knows Luka is the biggest crybaby in the league. And nobody complained. And nobody talked about Luka being a crybaby.
For the record,
but let Randle shove Cam Johnson because Cam Johnson kept pushing him in the back because just Julius Randle at 6'9", 250 is a beast, and Cam Johnson at 6'9", 205 can't handle all that muscle, right? Pushing Randle in the back, Randle shove him back like, boy, you push me again, I'm gonna punch you in the face, and we like, but Randle's got to be a pro right there.
I see. I don't know what you're saying, Freezy. I don't. I just think that when he does stuff like that, it takes him out of the game. Like he takes plays off because he don't feel like doing certain things. He feels slighted, so I'm not gonna defend.
You remember the game? You remember the game? Randle dunked on Giannis at the rim. Randle dunked on Giannis at the rim and pushed off a little bit. Giannis didn't even get back. He stayed at the other end and complained the whole time. In a nationally televised game, Knicks versus Bucks in Milwaukee, Randle dunked on Giannis at the rim. Giannis didn't even get back. He cussed the referee out, and nobody said a word about Giannis. But we talk about, take Randle out the game.
What we talking about? Okay, go ahead, Freezy. My bad. Go ahead.
But when it comes to other teams' players, when it comes to other team players, we don't say no. We don't support our guys no more, bro. Whatever happened to supporting our guys? We complain so much about everybody.
I always support our guys.
Every Knick we have is so flawed. Every player in the league has flaws, bro.
I love all my rookies and second year guys and third year guys.
Like when I call Quentin Grimes a ham sandwich, bro, it was like borderline about to go viral. Like, why you picking on
everybody's now ham sandwiches all over the place.
Right, but okay, I call Grimes a ham sandwich, meaning he's not Klay Thompson. He's just an average NBA player. He'll probably have a good career
at the moment. Yes,
we defending Grimes. We can't defend our best players. What are we doing?
I mean, I think it's because
that's interesting. What did this conversation come about? Because I had to do some. I was on diaper duties.
I'm on salad duty, bro. I got a salad right now.
I think it's because again, when Randle do what he do, like I said, I don't question his talent. I think as far as the power forward goes, you can't name 6 power forwards who's as offensively as gifted as Randle.
Right.
And I do admit he plays. That's my frustrations with Randle is he is one of the best defenders one-on-one at his position. I just have issues with him because when he gets into his moves, he does take plays off. And I feel like he hasn't earned the same cachet with Knicks fans that Giannis Antetokounmpo had with the Bucks fan base or what Steph Curry had with their fan base. You know what I mean? Like Steph Curry, these star players, they have leeway to do certain things like that because
cash out. We gotta cash out. We gotta have this. We gotta have this conversation again about Grimes and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, that's a little bit too crazy.
Oh
like,
my God,
we have to put some respect on Klay Thompson's name, bro.
That's why I called. I'm sorry, Don. I'm done. Listen, what I did was totally disrespectful, but I had to address it right then.
No, that's fine.
I ain't mean to cut you off, bro. Trust me, I ain't trying to be disrespectful, right? But my man says, how do you know Grimes isn't Klay? And that's the whole origin of me calling Quentin Grimes a ham sandwich. Klay Thompson is gonna moonwalk into the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Quentin Grimes is just a good player.
Torn ACL and all.
Can I respond to that? But you remember Hassan Whiteside when he was with the Kings?
Yeah.
I think you would have called him a ham sandwich back when he was with the Kings, but he was a totally different specimen when he was on the Miami Heat.
He's still a ham sandwich. He's still one right now. He's worse than a ham sandwich right now.
When he was on
Whiteside.
When he was on the Miami Heat, you couldn't call him no ham sandwich. He was an integral piece to their roster. You could call him
losing. It was a losing Miami Heat. They were coming over from a hangover losing LeBron before getting Jimmy Butler when he had his little thing, and they weren't doing much. They were a 9th and 10th seed. Yet on one side, you couldn't. He was a guy who got hot for about a year or two, and then they let him go, and he's really done nothing since. He was kind of guy putting up big dude putting up big stats in a bad team. So a Whiteside is a ham sandwich.
Hassan Whiteside was
a bona fide ham sandwich.
Hassan Whiteside was the best defender in the league at one point. He was the best shot blocker.
Yeah.
He was the best shot blocker in the league at one point. Nobody came close to him.
And I think he was leading the league in rebounding too.
Yes, but nobody came close to him. And he was going toe to toe with Joel Embiid from a time period. And you calling that a ham sandwich when he was with the Heat?
No, but the thing with Whiteside is his defensive numbers look good, but his defensive impact wasn't good. Right? Like what you could say is, well, he led the league in blocks, but he was a shot block chaser and his defense wasn't good. It was like Mitch when Mitch first came in the league. Mitch was a shot blocker, but his defense wasn't good. Right? It was like he would evacuate a place to go chase down a shot block and then a dude to hit a layup right behind him. Right? And you like, Mitch, listen, let them guys rotate over to that and you stay here and defend the rim. And once he learned like rotations and drop coverages and multiple pick and roll coverages, like do you come up, press the man with your hands up, make a 6-foot guard throw a pass over the top of a 7-footer with his hands up? Like it's like all these little things that Mitch had to learn because Mitch didn't play college ball, right? Right, and so it's like all these things Mitch had to learn was a part of the NBA game. Like Mitch in the NBA, athleticism only is not going to win you games because at this level, everybody is athletic, right? And I know people are going to be like, well, RJ ain't athletic. Yes, he is. He's just not an elite athlete like Zach LaVine. But to get to the NBA, you have to be a good athlete, right? You ain't get ready to say Uncle Freezy going to come out there and take Zach LaVine off the dribble. No. That ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Everybody at the NBA level is a good athlete. It's just now you're talking about the elite of the elite athletes. It's like playing corner in college and playing corner in the NFL. You could be an elite athlete at the college level, but then when you line up next to in front of Stephon Diggs, he could roast rookie corners. I don't care what corner. I don't care what abilities you have. A rookie corner is a rookie corner. You feel me, Saul? You see I'm going with that?
Oh, yeah. definitely.
I agree with you 100%. You remember Andre Iguodala in his prime with the Sixers?
Yeah.
He was pretty athletic, right?
Yeah.
What if I was to tell you on the Sixers he had somebody who was faster, who could jump higher than him, by the name of Rodney Carney? So I agree with you. You just being
and they also had Mo Harkless. Mo Harkless wasn't a bad athlete either at that time.
Oh nah, yeah, of course, yeah. Mo Harkless, he wasn't a bad athlete at all. I'm surprised we managed to let him go.
So the point that I was getting, the point to it all that I was getting at is we have to upgrade this backcourt position, and I don't think why. So the thing is with me and the kid, the Smurf from Dallas, is not that I dislike him as a man or a player, right? I'm just baffled about how the front office is selling their soul to go get him, and it reeks of nepotism to me. Right, it reeks of nepotism.
But they're not selling their soul to get him, Freezy. They're not doing that. They're not giving up 3 first-round picks. They're not giving up all of their picks. They're not giving up the best. They're not giving up R.J. Barrett to get him. They're not doing that.
They give up some second rounders to get some cap space to give to him. It's not a big.
Oh wait. Okay, okay, stop right there. So if they're giving up second rounders to get him, right? They just gave up some second rounders to get him, right? Then why are we still hearing rumors that they're looking to move other pieces?
Well, see, they were going to trade. Whether it was Brunson or not, they were going to try and get off of Burks and Noel because of playing time, and definitely Noel because he hasn't really produced anything since he got paid after that 4th seed. So I believe they were going to open them. They were going to be goners anyway. There was teams interested, but I don't think they're giving up assets. I think they are more likely they'll trade Burks and get something. And if they have to give up something for Noel, I think they're more likely waiving and stretching him than giving up another asset. Because if they do give up another asset, then I agree. Then I start to agree with you. Okay, now they're selling themselves a little bit to get him. But unless they give up a first round pick for him, or to get off money, then I'm not going to say that they're selling the soul. I think now making a move for like a trade of 4 picks for Devontae Murray, that would be selling your soul.
Even if they're giving up these picks that everybody thinks is garbage. Even if they have to give up, I don't think they're garbage. But even if they're giving up one of those garbage picks that a lot of people say is garbage to get off Noel, you still think that's you're still bad. You sour on what they're doing.
I don't agree. They're garbage picks. I think them picks are going to convey, and they're going to convey somewhere in the teens, and you can move them in, package them in 1 big deal, 2 deals. You can use them, or if you move your own picks in deals, you can draft them. So I think they're valuable. That would annoy me if they touch any of them picks.
I heard
take any of our picks. If they touch one more draft pick, then I'm going to be like,
keep on with your point, Freezy, about them selling their souls for Brunson. So you can finish your point.
So here's the thing. With the Jalen Brunson, right? Even though I think that kid, the Smurf, right from Dallas, even though I think he's a really good NBA player, I don't believe that he is a type that can come to New York by himself and turn this franchise around, right? And he is going to be asked to do so by the front office, and the amount of money that he gets from the front office is going to show you that they trust that he can do it, right?
Okay, so,
but here's the thing. In free agency in the past, they have not proven that they can sign a free agent that could be impactful from 1 year to the next. Right? Right? When you look at because I went back and looked at the transactions from the time Leon Rose got here to current. Right? And small stuff, that small stuff kind of has me thinking that this dude don't know what he's doing. Right? Like say for instance, cutting Kadeem Allen is the first move you make. The first move you make is cut Kadeem Allen. Right? And I wasn't a Kadeem Allen fan, right?
Are you going back to we think he be balling?
No, that's not what I said. I never said that.
Yeah, but you're like they cut Kadeem Allen, so you're upset at that.
No, you didn't. You cut me off before I finished.
All right, go ahead.
You just jumped right in. I said they cut Kadeem Allen, and then you jumped in with an assumption.
Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is the first move that they did was cut Kadeem Allen, and what I was going to say to you is that Kadeem Allen had always been our emergency point guard starter while he was here. He was like the fourth point guard up and down from the G League. Like, say for instance, if when Derrick Rose gets hurt, you bring up Kadeem Allen. Or you always had Kadeem Allen as the reserve guy, so you never had to trade for a guy because you had Kadeem Allen in the organization somewhere where you can bring him up to either, you know what I'm saying? So the second thing they did was cut Alonzo Trier, right? Just cut him. And then they cut Elfrid Payton, right? And they went on this thing of bringing in. They whiffed on Westbrook, they whiffed on Wall, they whiffed on Paul, they whiffed on Augustine, they whiffed on Schroeder, they whiffed on all these different things. And as you watch over the course of time, what free agent point guards were available, and what free agent bigs were available. And you're like, why did they give Nerlens Noel that huge deal when they could have signed Bismack Biyombo to a 1-year deal? Right? Just the small moves. What made me? It gave me the impression that either free agents don't want to come here, or they didn't recognize talent. And either way, that's disturbing to us, because for one, if free agents don't want to come here, then they have a lot of work to do, right?
Okay.
And then if they didn't recognize talent, then that makes me think like, what are they really doing here, right?
I'm with you.
And so. Yeah, and so the other thing is small. You could have done smaller moves with this roster, right? Like for instance, we could have came out of free agency last year with Kelly Olynyk, Kelly Oubre, and Dennis Schroeder, right? Three dudes that rarely get hurt, and three dudes, while they don't have humongous upside, they're steady. Right? Like Schroeder is never going to average 22 points a game. But what he will do is defend at a high level, be your starter or backup, right? He's not position flexible. Like he can't play the 2. He can't play the 3. When he's on your roster, you know he's a point guard, period. But what he is unselfish. He's an unselfish team player, right?
If he's all that, so then why doesn't a team sign him to a long-term deal?
If he's all of what?
If he's all those things that you're saying about Dennis Schroeder, why doesn't a team sign him to a long-term deal?
Well, his agent screwed him. He had a 4-year deal with the Lakers, and his agent told him to decline it, and then he got messed up.
I agree that was a bad move. And if he would have signed that contract, the team that signed him to that contract they would have been fired because that would have been an arbitrage of a contract. And the same question can go for Kelly Oubre. The same question can go for Kelly Olynyk. When his deal comes up,
if they are all that, why are they not franchise players?
Not franchise players. Why haven't they signed long-term deals? Like Kelly Olynyk's contract might be up this year, and I don't know if he's going to get
sign franchise players to long-term deals, bro. You don't sign journeymen to long-term deals.
Okay, and we didn't do that, right? We didn't sign a journeyman to a long-term deal, and we didn't sign somebody that we did not know to a deal either, right? We signed the players that we knew that were good for our locker.
Like Evan Fournier, because Evan Fournier played for the Knicks 7 years before we signed him.
He was a player that we wanted. He was productive.
But you just contradicted yourself then.
What?
Because you just all right. So let me finish what I'm saying first, and then it's that way you can understand where I'm coming from, right? Dennis Schroeder is not the long-term answer at point guard. But you knew that going in that you couldn't find a long-term answer at point guard. That's why you signed Kemba Walker. Because Kemba Walker was never going to be the long-term answer at point guard, right? You signed Kemba Walker to a 2-year deal, knowing that Kemba Walker is not the long-term answer. So instead of signing Kemba, you can sign Schroeder, who's a better defender, who at this stage of both of their careers is probably faster, you know what I'm saying, a more unselfish team player, right? you get what you can get out of Dennis Schroeder, and then you continue with your point guard search, right? And then with Kelly Oubre, knowing Kelly Oubre is a wing defender, right? Kelly Oubre, a wing defender, can start, can come off the bench. Kelly Olynyk can start, can come off the bench. You're not breaking the bank long term or getting in the way of your kids. You can still play your kids. You can still play your young vets along with these guys, because these guys are team players and they are playoff and battle tested, right? Kelly Olynyk is a battle tested big man. Kelly Oubre is a battle tested wing player. Dennis Schroeder is a battle tested NBA champion, right? Instead, we signed Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, Nerlens Noel, Taj Gibson.
Yeah, I follow you 100%. I'm not. Hey, I'm with you.
The thing is, and I know that I'm pretty sure the reasoning behind why the Knicks don't go after people like Kelly Oubre and they don't go after a Dennis Schroeder is because, you know, teams talk about not just what the player can do on the court, but what the players, how the players are off the court, how the players are in the locker room. How can the players poison the locker room? So when you're adding into the equation of you're going to sign a certain free agent, especially the New York Knicks, they're a team that takes highly into what type of person you are, and they take that into consideration when they're trying to sign you to a deal. That's why, hence, you know, they re-signed their players. They re-signed the players that were already there. They re-signed Derrick Rose. Great player for the locker room. Maybe on his last legs. He's willing to stay. He wants to stay here. They gave him a contract. Alec Burks, a great guy for the locker room. Had a great season. We gave him a 2-year deal, which is essentially, no, it was a 3-year deal, which was essentially a 2-year deal. Same thing for Nerlens Noel. Now, if you go for Kelly Oubre, you don't know if you're going to get that. You don't know what type of person he's going to bring, personality he's going to bring into the locker room. I know he's athletic. I know he can somewhat shoot a little bit. I like him as a player, but I also keep into the back of my, you know.
Do you like RJ at the 3? Do you like RJ at the 2 or the 3?
At this point in time, I like RJ. I really want to see RJ play more power forwards, because I know he can't keep up with the fast small forwards. And if he can't keep up with fast small forwards, he's not going to keep up with fast shooting guards. He plays very well against people like Kawhi Leonard. Why does he play well against people like Kawhi Leonard? Because Kawhi Leonard uses craftness. He's not a speed player per se. You know, he's a strength player, and that's up RJ's alley. So I would rather see him play, you know, a little bit more small forward, power forward, because, you know, then he can use his muscle against these type of players instead of using his quickness, which, you know, he pretty much lacks.
That makes RJ a no man's land, in my opinion, because you're going against other players.
He has a lot of deficiencies, man. He does, man. He has a lot of deficiencies, bro. And when we're talking about, I wanted to go back to the point, you know, when we're talking about paying this guy all this money, this Smurf, as Freezy likes to call him now, paying this guy all this money. If we go down the list of the amount of money that the point guards are making in the NBA, if you guys want to go check it out, like, there's a lot of money being paid to a lot of point guards in the NBA that are not worth that much. All right. Yeah. And I'm not even going to mention them, but we can just start here, just for argument's sake. We can just start here. Kyle Lowry at 36 years old is making $28 million. Mike Conley at 35 years old is making $22 million. Michael Brogdon at 30 years old is making $22 million. Terry Rozier at 28 is making 21. Fred VanVleet at 28 is making 21. I'm not even going to go down Spencer Dinwiddie, Lonzo Ball, Marcus Smart. I think that's a great contract right there. But isn't Brunson around that area at least, so we can say that we're not overpaying him? Or you guys still think that you know, that we're buying a broken down PlayStation 4 when PlayStation 5 is out right now?
Well, see, I think when the price comes out and the deal's done, people are going to see 27, 28 million. I think the way they're going to structure it's declining as the cap goes up. So by the end of the deal, it's going to be like 23 million, and the cap's going to be like 130 something. I think they're going to do it that way, and I think the contract's going to be. We're going to look at it in 2 years and be like, okay, we got a bit of a deal here, because I agree that point guards are making crazy money right now, and it's just going to get worse.
Right.
Well, and so here's the other thing. Here's the thing, man. Why when we have the discussions are uneven, right? You mentioned Kyle Lowry, right?
Yep.
Kyle Lowry is an NBA champion.
I was going to say that, but go ahead.
You mentioned Fred VanVleet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fred VanVleet is an NBA champion.
Okay.
These dudes you mentioned,
they were the best.
Wait. Now hold on, because you got your thing.
I'll let you finish.
Wait, no. I know. I'm gonna do. Yeah. These dudes that you mentioned are multiple-time All-Stars, NBA champions, heavy lifters on their team, right? Jalen Brunson had one good playoff run, and all of a sudden, we're comparing him to Kyle Lowry. This is why the Knicks get albatross contracts, right? We want to throw the bag at a dude that is not even the main playmaker on his own team. He's the second playmaker on his own team, right? The second playmaker. And we think by paying him what we think is fair market value for an elite point guard across the league in New York City is a good deal. What are we even thinking right now?
Well, Freeze, you got to look at Fred VanVleet come off the bench for the championship team. Kyle Lowry started, but you got to look at factors. Kawhi Leonard, the fact that Klay Thompson and KD went down.
No, so that's not true. That's not true. Fred VanVleet came off the bench for that championship team the year he was a free agent. He was a starter.
He came off the bench the first half of the year, and then I think he was put in kind of like Brunson. I think halfway through that year,
who started over Fred VanVleet?
And that's what you failed to mention, that they were champions. But they were both on the same team.
Who started for Fred VanVleet?
There was Kyle Lowry and who was the other? There was Kyle Lowry. They traded DeRozan for Kawhi. Kawhi left the following year.
During the summer. Yep.
Yeah, there was Kyle Lowry was there, and there was somebody else starting at the 2. And then they traded the person that was starting at the 2 at the deadline and put him in starting at the 2. Then his free agent year, Kyle Lowry left. He got paid and got put at the 1.
Okay, so let me ask you this one question, because we're gonna go round and round about different takes and different.
No, all I'm asking is when you say this thing, like if you want to disprove me, I'm okay with it, right? But what I'm asking is when you disprove what I'm saying, make sure that the argument for is even. Everything is applied across because you can't say this NBA champion, former NBA All-Star, is making such and such amount of money, and this dude that's not the secondary, even the primary playmaker on his team, should make that kind of money when he's proven nothing.
But that when I was gonna make my point, I was actually talking in very even terms, because Kyle Lowry at this point in time is making $28 million. We're talking about today. We're not talking about 3 years ago when he won a championship. We're talking about today at this point in time. So this is as even as it can get.
Okay, so where was Brunson?
Let me finish.
No,
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle
Lowry is 36 years old.
Right. Where was
Jalen
Brunson 3 years ago? 3 years ago, Jalen Brunson
was probably on the bench.
Right.
But he was in his second year.
But it don't matter. I didn't make the comparison.
That's exactly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm talking about signing a free agent. Because I'm talking about salaries. What I'm comparing is salaries. Because we were talking about salaries. We were talking about paying this guy $25 million a year, and that was way too much.
When is the contract signed? At his height when his value was so high, he can demand that salary.
Right.
Right now, Brunson can't demand that salary right now.
He can't.
I'm not saying don't pay him, but he can demand it. Lowry could demand it at the point of which.
Well, if he gets paid $25 million, he can demand it.
Oh, I'm saying I'm not only okay. Well, I'm saying I'm not opposed to paying this young man, but I'm saying this: how much better will we be with him, and can he lead us to a championship in 3 to 5 years?
Well, that's an easy question. We have no point guard.
Will he be that
So
much?
he's gonna slide into a slot where we effectively have nobody there for. So he's gonna immediately help in that position.
Another point of view could be he's gonna sign to a spot where we could try to discover what we have and block our chance to see that.
My question is this.
Which one is it? Is he
My question is this. My question is this.
Go ahead.
The money doesn't have to change. $25 million is what we're gonna have to get a said player. And I'm gonna use this because this is what the premise of the discussion was at this point in time. Kyle Lowry is 36 years old. Jalen Brunson is 25 years old. If both of those players were free agents at this point in time, who are you playing for your team?
Brunson. Okay, again, but
I'm sorry.
I think it's a bad comparison.
Kyle Lowry before like 1 year.
For 1 year.
So then you're just dispelling your own. You're just dispelling your own pick because it's like, yo, I'm just taking them just for next year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Is it Kyle Lowry? Is it Kyle Lowry? See, that's the thing I'm saying. Is it Kyle Lowry or is it any former 36-year-old point guard? Are you taking it? That's what I'm saying.
No, because I can't speak about when Kyle Lowry was 25.
Why not?
Because he's not.
But you can speak to Kyle Lowry being 25 because you saw him play in the league at 25. You saw his production. You saw his production at 25.
Maybe I don't know.
Let's
look at his production at 25.
What you can't speak to is the projection when Kyle Lowry turns 36 or 37. You can't speak to that because it hadn't happened yet.
Right. Exactly. You can't you're making my point exactly. You don't know what Jalen Brunson can be when he's 28, when he's 29.
Right.
Eddie, if you want to make a comparison, right? You had Kyle Lowry was off with the Grizzlies. That's where he started. He got paid by Toronto, and Toronto's where he got his opportunity to make his name and take off.
Right.
So you got to look at Kyle Lowry's age and the contract he got, even though it's going to be less. But what you're comparing is hoping Jalen Brunson paying him right now, and Kyle Lowry
getting you Kyle Lowry Kyle Lowry when he broke out, right? So it's a perfect comparison. Mind you, they're coming from the same school. They're coming from the same school, so that's even more of a comparison.
Yeah, let's not comparing Giannis with LeBron right now. Of course, we're going to take Giannis because of his age. But LeBron earned the right to get the salary he has right now.
But we're not talking about when LeBron was. We're not talking about when LeBron was at his height of his career. Because when you're talking about,
I'm comparing.
I think you guys are missing. I think you guys are missing it.
I think Eddie C. I think you just want to be right.
Okay, that's fine. But I'm giving my point. I'm giving my points. I'm talking about at this point in time what we need to do.
Because the Brunson thing. Brunson should not be compared to NBA All-Stars or NBA champions because he has done none of that.
I'm not comparing. I'm comparing the salaries of the NBA.
But Freezy, when Van Vliet got that deal, he was just after being promoted from the bench to the starting lineup, got paid, and then made an All-Star. So what we're saying is Brunson's going to get.
But he was an NBA champion.
Yeah, but you're looking at the factors. The back, Kawhi was on that team. He come off the bench. And you look at the factors of that championship, Clay and KD were out. I'm not discrediting what he done, but you have to look at the situation. He was coming off the bench. Brunson just started alongside Luke and was probably the second best player on a conference finals team that got outplayed by Golden State, the eventual champions. So what I'm saying is you're looking at the path. He could get paid now the same money as Van Vliet, and next year, the year after, the same age, make an all-star team, and he's going to get the same money as them dudes. And a lot of these guys, like Brogdon's making the same money. Alonzo, but like as you said, Kyle Lowry at 37 is making $28 million. So a lot of the contracts that he's not going to be overpaid. He's going to be paid right around where he should be.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I don't know, Freezy, disputing this, but I'm not disputing the salary. I think 25 is fine. I don't think it's being overpaid. I'm sure it's fine. What I'm saying is he the player I want to have? And I'm saying no, he's not. So pay him because that market rate, he earns it, but somebody has to give it to him. Let Dallas pay him that amount of money.
What happens?
So let me get this straight. So we willing to give up the farm for Jaden Ivey, but we're not willing to give up 3 first-round picks for Murray.
Now that's a different story. Now Murray.
That's like this is the inconsistencies I'm talking about. Murray is not.
That's
right. The big difference between that is Jaden Ivey is going to be on a rookie contract for 4 years, and Murray is going to be an unrestricted free agent after next year. And Murray's going to be asking for a $225 million to $250 million contract, which is a 5-year deal, which evaluates to $50 million per. Meanwhile, Jaden Ivey, you're giving up the farm, but you're getting Jaden Ivey for 4 years, $40 million, because he's going to make around $10 million per.
And to get Murray, you're going to have to the picks we acquired isn't going to be enough. They made it's for clear. Atlanta's going to be giving up. It's going to be 3 to 4 unprotected picks or very badly protected. So very protected. So top 3.
They said Detroit did good because they didn't give up their farm. They didn't give up a bunch for Ivy. So always remember that. You know what I mean?
They lucked into Jaden Ivey.
And that's the point that we be trying to make on that part. Like you got to be in a better situation, and you can't even want that. You can't just give up what you all at for that. You don't know what he's going to be. I think that's the point Freezy was making about the prediction of a player over a player that we've seen accomplish certain things already. You know what I'm saying? That's the big difference in that gamble process.
A lot of times players, when they come into a contract year, they usually ball out. Why? Because they want to get paid. Now, this whole situation with Brunson that, this ongoing discussion has been on, his value is what it is. Is it his real value, the money that's going to be put out there? We don't know that. His play should determine value, but unfortunately, the way the game is played is based on whatever that current value is. Now, it was some stats that I don't know who in the corner who that is, but it's good points of guards that are getting paid all this money. Now we have to question: do those guards deserve to be getting paid what they paid? Some of them, yeah, I would have to question. But unfortunately, value, the market value dictates what a player is going to be paid. So when that player balls out at the right time, it's like the stock market. At certain times when that stock goes up, what happens? The value of it is high, and people, they want to get paid. They want to turn
demand, basic economics.
Whereas when it's low, it don't mean shit to any of them. Sugar, honey, iced tea to no one. So it's all based on value, and then also too, that what makes a difference is who you play with. If you look good playing next to LeBron, your value is going to go up. But if you're playing next to Dennis Schroeder and balling out, nobody's going to care. So in the case of Jalen Brunson, it worked out in his favor. He was next to Luka in front of the world. And so his value is boosted. So as his agent, I want to see his value go up, because if he get paid, I get paid. Unfortunately, we're going to have to just pay. If Knicks management, if the Don really wants Jalen Brunson and he asks for $20 million, we're going to have to pay it. There's no getting around that.
See, here's the thing, though.
That's the value.
I see. This is why I agree with Freezy with what he said. It's not so much as his value that I'm arguing. It's the fact that all of a sudden this dude is CP3 times 2. CP3 on steroids. This dude is.
No, he's not. This is the thing.
The way we was talking, I wouldn't think that was the case. See, here's the thing.
This is the thing.
Hey, hold
go
on.
ahead.
Hold on, Cash.
Though
Hold
he's
on. Let me
making
do
the
this real
20
quick.
million.
Cash.
He's on the key. Right.
Hold on. Cash. Hold on.
All
Neville
right.
Humphreys, thank you for the generous contribution. Cash says, I'm drafting a letter right now to inform the Knicks management that next time they need an oracle, they should definitely contact you. Hey, Neville Humphreys, thank you for the generous contribution, man. We appreciate that. Cash, man, my bad for interrupting. But when these super chats come up, man, we can't ignore them. You know what I'm saying? These super chats come up, man. We gotta take a pause and make sure that we acknowledge super chats and super stickers and things of that sort. Go ahead, bro.
Cool, no problem, man. Sorry about that. No worries. What I want to say is my expectations of Jalen Brunson coming to the Knicks. I don't look at him as a savior. I don't look at him as, he's the guy that he's the CP3, the point guard or whatever. No, I look at Jalen Brunson as a piece. I look at him as being, yes, the point guard that we need to provide stability, to provide direction, and to be that floor general to keep things in order. He is only a piece.
Now, my question to you, Cash, is this. Is he the only piece that was available to us? Was he the only option that we had that was available to us?
No, he's not the only option. But I guess
that's my problem.
As far as Leon Rose,
that's debatable.
And Knicks management, the only thing that I could say to that is the fact they knew this kid literally from day one, from the day he was born. Because remember, his father, you go back in time, the relationship that they had, all the connections that they have. So they know this kid from literally day one. And so, yeah, I guess you could say that.
No, but he is but Cash, but hold on a second. Don P, he is the best point guard available.
Is he?
In the free agency market right now, he's the best point guard available.
That's debatable.
Who's debatable against? Show me another point guard that's available.
Breezy pulls up. You're absolutely right. He is. He is the best point guard available.
I think if we're talking about options and win-win situations, I gave a scenario of getting D'Angelo Russell over here on a
He's not available.
On a 1 year expiring contract. We could trade for him.
But that's not being available. That's trading. As a free agent, right now we can pay Jalen Brunson to come to our team. That's being available.
They don't want to trade for everybody. They don't want to trade for anybody. That's what it is. They get Jalen Brunson and add to him if they have to, but they don't want to have to trade assets for a point guard. So they're going the free agency route, and he's the best available in the market.
I'm not too close. I like Sexton. Can I say something? I was gonna say in reference to a lot of moves I see that we're about to make, and I hear us talking about money and stuff like that. And I feel like once we clear up a lot of these players that we're supposed to move, it's not really like, if you look at how we spent money wrong, right? And for this young kid, if the market is already there, that's why I say it's a good move for a piece. And like Cash just said, a piece to where as if we know he could come in and handle some of the ball pressure, right? He could maintain the ball, and we got to bring somebody else in that can help with offense as well. We said that, I think, on the last show, but I feel like the money part is really out of our control, and he just said that as well. Once they set the market rate and what that is, we ain't in control of that. And if they're gonna pay him that, the way we have spent money is the key part you got to look at. Horrible. Feel me? So in this situation, this player could help us go in a better direction. And somebody also just said what I agree with is adding them to the mix is a big part of what we may need. You know what I mean? To give away some power to get him is a different situation, like what you saying, bro. I just wanted to say that.
I'm saying Colin Sexton is a better shooter, better driver to the basket.
Colin Sexton is not a point guard.
I think Colin Sexton can be a point guard.
You think he can be a point guard? The difference is that Jalen Brunson is a point guard.
No, Brunson is a more pure point guard.
It's the same thing as saying Emmanuel Quickley can be a point guard. Quickley is not a point guard.
Sexton plays has played a lot of points before.
So then you're giving a lot of time to Chance there, and you're giving up a lot of money for Chance, which Jalen Brunson is a point guard. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I would say this to you, Eddie. I would say this to you straight up. Quickley is a better defender than Jalen Brunson at the point of attack.
But we already had that discussion about.
All right, but he has shown flashes of facilitating. I know he's not a pure point guard, right, but I know he's a better defender than him. I know he's a better shooter than Brunson.
And he can get better at defending. He's not the best defender. He can't get better at defending.
Who, Jalen Brunson?
Quickley.
You don't think he's a better defender than Brunson right now? At the point?
He's not head and shoulders above him.
That's that's the question I asked. Is Jalen Brunson over what, $20 million over what we can already get with Quickley for the low?
No, if you're the manager of an NBA team and you're gonna go into next season as Emmanuel Quickley as your starting point guard and actually trying to win ball games, you're gonna get fired 5 games into the season, bro.
See, here's the thing though, Eddie. My thing is this: if I pick Emmanuel Quickley as my starting point guard, if I'm sitting there and I'm gonna pay for a person like Jalen Brunson, he's no scrub. But if you look at Emmanuel Quickley's trajectory, coming into next year, who's to say that he's not going to produce as much as what Jalen Brunson is going to produce? Who's to say that he's not going to produce as much as Jalen Brunson?
What you're not accounting to is this: Emmanuel Quickley is already on our team, and Emmanuel Quickley is under a rookie contract for the next 2 years. Adding into Jalen Brunson that you rather not add anybody to the equation and put Emmanuel Quickley as the point guard. So then you're missing value there.
Yeah, I think he'll be better. I think he'll make Quickley better too, because Quickley will have to come off the bench, the way he should be. I think, he should be like a motor off the bench, come in and get his buckets and do his thing, make alley-oop plays, the OB, bring that energy. But I think Brunson will make him better. And I know he's taking minutes from him, but Tibbs already didn't believe in him enough to put him at the starting point guard. He put Burks in. So when I look at stuff like that, we need somebody in here that's going to come right in and be and be a better point guard. And what Brunson has is leadership. You follow his career. He a winner. He tough. He undersized, but he like a pit bull. So
the value in Jalen Brunson, we're looking a lot at his physical stature, but he brings a lot of intangibles, such as a high IQ. Mm-hmm. I talked about his pedigree as to, him, where he came from in day one. It's a lot of, intangibles and the pedigree that he's from that people seem to miss. I think it was a comment earlier about championships. Now, granted, okay, don't beat me up on this. He did win 2 collegiate championships, which doesn't mean nothing in connection with an NBA championship. But the fact that he was in high intensity, high stakes games, having the acumen that he has and know how to, be that floor general and control things, that's the leadership that he has, and that's what he's going to bring to the Knicks: the leadership and stability, those intangibles. I mean, if you look at him, he's 6'1", he's small. Okay, yeah, he is. Steph Curry's small too, but we don't talk about how small he is. But
yeah, because Steph Curry literally changed the landscape of the game.
Yeah, he did.
We're not talking about.
I'm not comparing, and let me just put the disclaimer out. I'm not comparing Jalen Brunson to Steph Curry in terms of their abilities. I'm talking about in terms of size and stature. Now, in terms of what they bring to the game, obviously, it's totally different. But this is what I'm talking about in terms of what Jalen Brunson is going to bring to the Knicks, what he brings to the game. And if you look at that, and if you look at the Dallas Mavericks and what he's done, okay, Freezy's putting some stats up. You can see that. Sometimes it don't always translate into numbers neither. So don't say,
How old is Jalen Brunson? 24, 25?
25.
25. You think it will be such a debate if, let's say, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to be fair here. You think it would be a debate if we was to get George Hill at that same age?
No, I don't want George Hill.
No, if we was to get George Hill at 25, 26 years old, you think we will all be debating? I don't want to be unfair and choose somebody like Russell Westbrook. John Wall. I think that's unfair to Brunson. So I'm just talking about somebody below them. That's a starter quality point guard. You think we'll be having the same conversation? You think a lot of us will argue amongst each other whether this dude is worth it or not?
Well, the numbers would have to bear that out. It would be, I would say it would be based on what he brought to the table and how his numbers and how the intangibles and how everything bears out. You know, how the team is. How the team is. Okay. You know, sometimes numbers analytics does show some things, but it doesn't show everything. Now, as I look at Jalen Brunson's numbers here, scoring wise, I see an uptick. You know, scoring wise, I look at games. You know, games played. You know, he plays most games. He's not taking off. You know, games and stuff. He's not a volume.
So George Hill at 25 years old scored 9.6 points per game, 2.9 assists per game, 3 rebounds per game. Shot 48% from 2-point percentage, 77% from free throw percentage, and .36.7 3-point percentage. I think Jalen Brunson bettered all those numbers except for the 3-point percentage.
Yeah, well, Jalen Brunson's assist
at age 25
is low. He's steady. He shoots. He's efficient. He's where he should be as a point guard. From the
what I want to look at is this, bro. When Luka, I'm about to call him Duka. When Luka was out, Brunson scored like 40 points. And he scored like 30 points and was the leader of the team.
I'm gonna keep it
in a playoff game.
I look
in
at
a high stakes scenario. So to me, that's super important to me.
Jeremy Lin did the same thing with the Knicks, but I feel
if he can do this for the Knicks, we're in good shape.
Exactly. That's
we're
good.
He do this
so
for us, we're good.
So that's the overall consensus that Jalen Brunson.
So tell me who you would want, or who you think is better fit as far than him, bro.
And somebody that's available, Dom P, somebody that you can get an unrestricted free agent, because we're not trading for Jalen Brunson.
I'm a huge believer in sometimes you got to know when to pull that trigger.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's no good options available, sometimes I'm a good believer in staying pat and working towards another free agency class. I'm not always pulling the trigger at any option we can see, always to get better. Sometimes you got to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. That's
I
what
don't
I'm
think
saying.
he's any option though. You know why? Because he is young. He could be a face of the league. You know, going off what he just did, it is early to predict. You know, really what he's gonna be as far as like when we compare him to players, perennial all-stars and stuff like that, off of the small sample size. But when you look at what we need in his description, he kind of fit with what we need. And you know, Tibbs is Tibbs' guy. Tibbs is coaching. You know what I'm saying? He gonna put the ball in his hand. I'd rather be in somebody's hand that could deal with the ball pressure. And then other guys could probably play better, because that was a big problem that we had. Whereas if the ball was in the wrong person's hands, like Alec Burks, if I could deal with Alec Burks for almost a whole season at my point, bro, imagine what Brunson would really do in the Garden, bro.
I just thought about something that the numbers that Freezy spoke about earlier about our guard situation and how it sucked. Well, looking at Jalen Brunson's numbers, his numbers is probably better than Burks and Quickley's put together.
It's better than everybody on our team.
Yeah, and that's another thing we never look at how long. We gotta look at how long we had a player.
If he can just replicate what we see here in front of us, we good, guys. We good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
I guess I would be way more high on Brunson. Again, like we always talk about his deficiencies. Chris Paul has the same deficiencies as Brunson.
Sure is. Same height. He's the same
the
height.
only thing that sets Chris Paul apart from Brunson is the fact that Chris Paul is a true floor general.
Yeah.
He's unique. He's unique.
But that came in experience, though.
That came from the jump.
Yeah, but
yeah, you was there when he was in college.
But listen, how long? You know, we always knew Chris Paul was who he was when he came in the league, but it wasn't like, you know, Chris Paul's still trying to win, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to look at it like he had to learn how to be to bring guys together and do what he had to do over the years of his career. So all I'm saying is, when you see flashes from a young player doing some stuff that he doing, and it's magnified now because players are doing it faster, you know, because he saw Chris Paul do it. You know what I mean? So they coming in doing it at a faster rate earlier in their career. So when you look at the numbers, it's true. He has an upside. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be better than Chris Paul. He's a different player, but he has his upside to be a good player, a very good player.
Better than Mark Jackson.
See, we shouldn't look at Jalen Brunson as a star. That's why I said a piece. And this here is a representation of being a piece, doing what he needs to do, being efficient, moving the ball, being the best defender he can. This is what we need, guys.
But did face of the NBA? Did
I think
face of the NBA come out your mouth? Face of the NBA? That's not even close, right? Let's take that back, though. He cannot be the face of the NBA.
Real quick,
say that again. What you said, Anthony?
I think you slipped earlier and said he could be the face of the NBA. I don't think he's even close to getting to that possibility.
No, I don't think none of them do that.
Brunson.
Nobody said that.
I don't think nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
I would say this.
If you thought you heard that, you thought I said that. I never said that.
I thought you said that. Okay.
Nah.
Is he Mark Jackson? Is he a Mark Jackson or better?
No, I want you to understand where I'm coming from when I'm talking
type
about
of player.
I don't think that he's a scrub. Again, Eddie said he's a point guard. He's a score first point guard. It is what it is. If you're 6'1", you're undersized, and you're a score first point guard, like your type of play is going to work for certain teams, and other teams is just not going to work. That's all I'm saying. If he was hold on, if he was 6'1" and he was undersized and he had that same court vision that Chris Paul, Deron Williams, and all other point guards of that size, of that stature had, then I'm sold on Brunson. I just don't think that he naturally has it. And am I saying that he's not going to average high assists from one game to another? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that all of us know that he doesn't naturally have that court vision. And I know we're talking about he's going to be a piece to our team, but we're talking about he's going to be our starting point guard from now to the future, right?
Well, at least for the next 4 years.
Like 4 years, at least like 4 years.
3 years probably with a player option.
That's what I disagree with.
Yeah.
I don't think he's
but this guy. My bad. But...
No, go ahead. I'll land my plane. Go ahead, brother.
No. I'm saying people are messing with Hey, what's up, panel? What's up, chat? The people mess with Bronson because he undersized, right? Look back in the day. Look at Muzzy Boat. Look at Spud Well. Look at Nate Robinson. Look at all of them. They was short, and they was balling. And every era, they was balling. So Brunson is balling. I just don't know. Certain people don't want Brunson on the team. He gonna make our team better. He got basketball IQ. Anybody that played basketball would know that. He a smart guy.
Let me ask you a question.
I think anyone doubts that. I think everyone knows.
Let me ask you a question.
Anyone question that?
Would you sign Nate Robinson for $25 million?
No. Brunson is better than Nate Robinson.
No, in his prime. Would you sign Nate Robinson for $25 million?
Isaiah Thomas.
No, I wouldn't say no Nate. No.
Don P, you got
Nate Robinson is not on Brunson level.
You guys have to be better with your comparisons, man. Like
Okay,
the money wasn't even like that back in the day, bro.
Yeah, it wasn't like that.
No, but quick question. how
I
much
know.
better does Brunson make us? How much better does he make us? And is he going to take us to a point where we're now going to get the 15th pick?
We might be in the seventh spot with Brunson.
Just look at it like this: Brunson and Randle are going to be paid the same amount of money, and they're going to be around the same level of player. They're not superstars. They're probably the second and the third best players on a good team, and we're not overpaying any of them. So what more can we ask for our organization? We're not overpaying them. They're pieces to our team. We still have all our assets. You know what I'm saying? We can still clear.
Get that fat, Eddie.
It's like if we really wanted to clear all our cap space, yo, we have an essence of like $50 million in cap still.
Yep. Yeah. Right. But I'm
like
saying,
how much more smarter? Like what else do you want? Like you're not going to be given these superstar players. Like you really have to go into the trenches and talk to these organizations and try to pry away these players, these superstar players, so they can be on your team. And they're not just not going to give it away to you. So they're doing the best that they can to the best of their ability, and I'm okay with that, yo. I ain't mad at what.
But I think
can things be better? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe can they be better? Nobody's perfect. But I
think a better move is no move. Don't acquire Brunson. Let's see what we got with IQ and Deuce, and then make the move we need to make. There will be someone equivalent to Brunson available in the next year or so. I
think depends on where you want to go. If you're looking to slow build and look at the draft, you start IQ, you see what you have, but they don't want to do that. So they're not going to risk that. And you look at Brunson, people are saying in the chat about, Quickley and Brunson are close. Quickley shoots better from the three than he does from the field. Brunson's shooting 50%. He shoots up there with like Giannis and them inside the paint, and he's 6'1". So we need to stop. Like he brings efficiency and he brings what we need. Basketball IQ. He does everything right. Could we get better? Yes, but we could also do a lot worse.
I need starting point guard to be a facilitator, not somebody who's super efficient from the floor when it comes to scoring. We got enough scoring with RJ, Julius Randle, since he's not going.
But Don P, the NBA nowadays, the point guards nowadays are able to score. The good ones are able to facilitate, and they're able to score. And that's what we want as a franchise. We want a player that can score when he wants to. We want a player that can pass when he wants to. We want a player that can set up people when he wants to. There's nothing more that you can ask for Jalen Brunson.
The Knicks are clogged in the middle. So Brunson last year in IQ spot would have as much trouble in the paint because he would get in there with a bit of challenge with Mitch, RJ, and Randle in there. So I think that Brunson had a clearer path to the middle than IQ did. I'm not saying he's not be better. I'm just saying that the systems make a player sometimes, and we can't always judge based on what system Brunson had with a more open spacing than what IQ had.
Nah, don't backtrack it, Anthony E. You're onto something there. The system does make the type of player and the numbers that you make, and can make a player look better in certain systems and other systems. Don't backtrack like that. You have a point in. No, I agree completely. I agree completely with that premise of the system may help you. D'Antoni, back in the day, D'Antoni used to make nobodies into superstars.
Right.
Now they never won championships, but he used to make nobodies into superstars. So you know what I'm saying? The system does help. And I'm not going to say that the system does help, but when it comes to Jalen Brunson, there's things in his game that even if the system wasn't what it was, he's still going to be able to do, because when he goes one-on-one against a player, he can still do that in the Knicks. He can still take you off the dribble, and he can still get his shot off. He can do the step back. He can do plenty of things that the system is not entitled to. And at the end of the games, when there's no system at all, when it's basically, who's the best player? Who's going to get the shot up? He did some remarkable things at the end of the games. So that leads me to believe that sometimes, even though the system breaks down, he's going to be able to get a shot off, and he's going to be able to produce.
I also think if Julius Randle can buy in, and I think he's going to have to make an adjustment, so I think he will. having Brunson, the ball in his hands, Julius is not going to have to try to get to his spots himself with the ball. He's going to get to his spots. Brunson's going to be, you're going to see maybe Julius could be put up more points than he's ever in his career, because I do believe they're going to try and turn him into more of a scorer. And I think that's probably that. If that works, then we're cooking with something here. We can make noise. But that's only if Julius buys in and they take it out of his hands and let Brunson do the work around the perimeter and let Julius get into his spots, get open, set screens, do what he's supposed to do, and he'll revise his career here in New York. But that's all if he's willing to do it, because I think it can work if Julius is willing to move off ball. But if Julius wants to ball in his hands, it's not going to work.
Before I go real quick. Oh, did y'all heard the rumors was going on with Toronto, with OG? He having problems with the organization. They not putting him in the right spot to shine. So we have to look at that too. Y'all know OG, right? Toronto. Cause he say Barnes taking up his shine.
Yeah. They got a good problem.
Yeah, check it out. It was on the rumors.
Yeah, he's been on the trade market.
Portland, I think
he'll go good with our young core too. He'll go good with topping them, everybody.
Yeah, definitely. He's very versatile.
Defense too.
That just goes to show you. No matter how good of a player you are, if you don't buy into the system, and you're not willing to partake of what the system asks you for, you can go.
Yeah, and check this out, Eddie C. Y'all check this out. Then he could guard. I ain't trying to say he could lock down KD or Jaylen Brown or them, but he could guard them good to anybody on our team.
I agree.
Yeah, he was having a good year, but he got injured. I don't know. And then I'm very skeptical when these good players become available. Like when DeJounte Murray's come available, when OG Anunoby comes available. If they're such good players, why are they available?
So teams are looking for better. They look at Scotty Barnes and they're like, okay, we have an upgrade. The same as we said yesterday, the Spurs. Why the Spurs moving off of DeJounte Murray? Because they're going after VW next year.
Yeah, they look at that 23.
Yeah, contracts come into play. There's different things that come into play.
So how many of you right here on this board want?
Hey, check this out. Check this out, guys. Check this out, guys. This just came on me. Hold up. Check this out. Okay, if we get Bronson, we might could get Murray and Bronson together. We got a draft pick, right? And yeah. Bronson and Murray in the backcourt. And RJ Barrett, Mitch. Woo! All right, guys. I'll see y'all later. If y'all on, I'll holler at y'all.
Peace out. I think the Los Angeles Clippers are going to be out of the running for Nerlens Noel. They just re-signed Ivanta Zubic to a 3-year, $33 million extension.
Okay.
So he got about $11 million a year.
Okay.
Well, the thing with Noel is they're talking about him going into their exemption. They have an exemption that would take Noel's salary from the Serge Ibaka trade. So
yeah, they also want an asset. They also want an asset for that.
And absorb the exemption. No other players would be involved in the trade.
Right. Well, like
so
possible asset.
But an asset. But they will be looking for an asset.
They want a first rounder.
Yeah, possibly. That's possible. But that deal can still go down because I heard that they might lose Hartenstein, which is their backup center, and that's where Noel comes into play. So let's hope that happens, and they can take Noel and his salary, and we can put him on a plane to LA.
Well, my prediction is that Nerlens Noel is not going to be traded anywhere. He's going to stay in New York, and we will trade Alec Burks to Boston.
They might even stretch Noel then if they feel like they need the money to do something else. If there's another free agent on, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think the only free agent that we're going to get is probably Jalen Brunson. So there wouldn't be a need to stretch. There wouldn't be a need for anything. You can probably even midway through the season, if somebody's looking to get money off their table, Nerlens might be available then.
Yeah,
I heard reports of them attaching Cam Reddish to some of these trades in order to get these contracts off their books.
Yo,
Well,
if it ain't,
I don't like
check it,
that.
DP. If it's not Woj, if it's not Shams, and if it's not Ian Begley,
Don't listen.
Yeah, I would say if
I
you
mean,
got Twitter, put notifications for them three. That's all who I deal with. I don't deal with anybody else. I just deal with them three. That's where all my information come from. I get notifications when as soon as the tweet hit, I got it.
so when you see this, oh, Milwaukee is interested in Derrick Rose and the Blase. If it ain't Shams, if it ain't Woj, if it ain't Ian Begley,
yeah, don't listen to it. Because remember in the propaganda market, and especially us being in New York, people put stuff out for an article, man. They trying to make money. Remember, they trying to make money. We just fans. We not getting paid for this. We just
that's what I say about Stephen A. Smith. He do be doing these videos to get like.
Yo, Stephen A. Man, he got to come up with a new actor. Let it go, man.
Hold on.
Yeah, that was embarrassing, yo.
Yeah.
Are we gonna like the moon?
And I just became a Kendrick Perkins fan, bro. I just became a Kendrick Perkins fan because that was so embarrassing watching Stephen A. and Spike Lee do that on TV, and watching all the ESPN analysts laugh. That's so unprofessional, man. And Kendrick Perkins was the one that was like, "Yo, why y'all like I'm a fan of his now, man."
But yeah, man, a lot of the media put out stuff for propaganda to get a story because they trying to sell papers they trying to make money. That's what's going out for them. I just want the facts, man. I want the facts. I'm a pragmatist, man. I want it to be real. We don't want the BS, man.
Considering what happened in the draft, is that far-fetched though?
What's that?
Considering what happened in the draft, what we did in the draft, was that?
What did we do in the draft?
We traded away Kemba Walker in the first round pick.
What did we do?
We didn't trade away a first.
Okay, so we traded away a number 11 pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we traded away Kemba. We attached Kemba Walker to a first round pick.
And we got a first back.
And we got. Did we draft anybody?
Yeah, we drafted 2 second round. We drafted a second rounder, and we signed an undrafted player.
All right, cool.
Players.
Yeah. I forgot.
So if we would have drafted somebody at 11, where was he going to play?
Well, this is the thing from the.
They could have. They had a chance to get Jalen Duren, and they didn't have to sign. If they was to get Jalen Duren, they wouldn't even have to re-sign Mitch again.
This is the
so
thing.
You would have got into the season with rookie Jalen Duren and Jericho Sims, second year Jericho Sims, as his backup, and Nerlens Noel. And you're trying to win though.
Yeah, no, I'm not. And in a season to where we gonna have one of the strongest drafts or a draft that's stronger than this, why would I want to win?
Okay, so you're part of the tank.
I'm not specifically a part of the tank food, but I want to see the kids play. I want to see what we have in our kids.
Yeah, Don P, I'm with you, bro.
Yeah, you guys will be fired.
What Don P said was exceptionally smart. A lot of people don't have the forethought to understand where it is that you're going with it. Like the thing is with teams that are in this position, nobody accumulates this much young talent and then not try to evaluate it. That's dumb. The reason why you bring kids in is so you can evaluate them to see what they can and can't do so that you can build your team going forward so you don't have to depend on free agency. It's the reason why the NBA has the NBA draft ahead of free agency so that you can build through the draft, and what you can't get in the draft, you supplement it by signing free agents and not vice versa. So if you're the Knicks, you don't have no superstar. Who do you have? You have RJ Barrett that some people still question right now. They question RJ Barrett's ability. But at the 2, what do you have? Do you have a long-term answer at the 2 or at the 1 or at the 5? You don't have these things. So you got to go into the draft thinking that draft the best available player
See if you can bring them in. See if you can turn them into something, as opposed to hoping that some team don't have enough money to pay a coveted player, and you can scoop them up. That you can get somebody's seconds, like somebody's leftovers. You know, the smart play here. I
don't agree with that.
I know you don't, but Dallas is letting Jalen Brunson go to free agency, but they're not letting Luka go to free agency. Did you notice that? Why is that? That's because teams draft bringing these young players early.
But you know the real reason
wait a minute. Mm-hmm. When these guys, man, these smart teams, they bring in these talents early and see what they have, right? And then if this guy is not in the future plans, then they let the guy go, and there's no harm in that.
Yeah, sorry, man.
Hey y'all, thank everybody for coming. I got to get out of here and get ready to get ready to go to work, man. I got to pull a night shift tonight.
Oh, okay.
So, which is yeah. That's why I was trying to. That's why I was letting y'all let everybody rock, because I knew I got to get out of here, and you know how it is. So I'm gonna be up all night, but I will be back on. I'm gonna try to get back on early in the morning, man, so that we can rock. Oh, tomorrow I got a conference call. God dog it. Well, anyway, we'll try. We'll figure something out for tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day before. You know what I'm saying? So we'll try to figure this thing out, man. We got plenty of time, man. We got all summer, really. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to be in a rush to do everything. I do appreciate everybody coming through in the video chat, man. I liked everybody's opinions and takes and everything, people perspectives. You know what I'm saying? And while it does seem like we were a little bit contentious, we wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It's just everybody was in a rush to get out their point of view, which is good. The fact that we feel comfortable enough to share our points of view with each other. You know what I'm saying? Based on what's going on in the day-to-day around the NBA. So thank everybody for coming out. Man, I will see y'all tomorrow. Everybody coming back tomorrow? Everybody gonna be here tomorrow, or did somebody get scared?
Salute, chat. Appreciate you guys in the chat, man.
Yeah.
Salute. Appreciate everybody.
Keyshawn.
Yeah, man. All right, y'all. I'll holler at y'all.
All right, freeze later.
All right.